transmission. Intercepted. For 3 hours. Signal detected. Mike, in the night. It's 3 a.m. Screen still glows. Satellites watching below. Red lights blinking on every street. Truth buried 6 feet deep. Paper signed in quiet rooms. Deals made under crescent moons. Digital chains you never see. There's something in you wants to break free. They say it's safe. They say it's fine. But why's that camera watching mine? Clock hits free. The veil gets thin. You feel the static on your skin. Baseline truth, all at your fires. No more silence, no more talking. I have spoken. Bank accounts tracked every swipe. Data mined from every type. Algorithm knows your face, predicting every move you make. Borders blur, control expands. Digital cuffs on steady hands, but in the dark the people wake. Feel the system start to shake. Eyes up.
It's Mike in the Night, people.
Speak up. Stand up. They fear the ones who see the play. They fear the ones who won't obey.
It's Mike in the Night, people.
3 a.m. that's when you know. The quiet truth begins to grow. Signal cutting through the room. Truth breaking through the gloom. Like in the night, no disguise, piercing through the alibis. Midnight message unbroken. I have spoken. When the world sleeps, the real talk starts.
Woo! Oh yeah. Today. Oh, we got feedback coming off some other side here. Oh yeah. Oh, we got this one playing in the background, jumbling up all the other ones when we have it on mute, and it doesn't mute, and it jumbles over the music, and you guys are wondering, what the heck is going on? Why am I hearing this twice? All right, here we go, guys. Today is Monday, the 22nd of June, 2026. We are in week 26 of 2026. The year is going by fast. And I bid you all good morning, good evening, and good night wherever you're watching this transmission. Whether you're watching us from your condo in the sky or your camper cabin in the woods or relaxing on your lazy boy. People of the night, welcome tonight. Mike in the Night. It is 3 a.m. and something is moving you. All right, guys, I want to thank you all for being here. And I want to start off the show with, I went to Hub Insurance to get my insurance done. And I went in and sat down to see somebody. A guy came over to me and started yelling at me. Oh, we don't have time for you. I don't have time for you right now. You're going to have to go. Is there someone that could... all I wanted to ask the guy was, did you just get my email so I know what's going on? That's all I wanted to know. And then I just got an email back from them saying like this. I understand that you were not happy when we couldn't fit you in last week. I wasn't unhappy. I sat down. I was yelled at. I didn't say a word. I got up and I left. You see how they turn it around saying, I'm unhappy? You see how things work? How they play it like it's never their fault? And that's Hub Insurance, people. That's just how they play the game. That's how everybody around you plays the game. And it's really, really sad. I understand you were not happy. I just wanted to ask if my email went through and I was going to leave. That's it. That's it. And I was yelled at, and I was told to leave, and then there was nobody to help me, and they don't have time for me. They could have told me that by talking to me, but they didn't talk to me. They just yelled at me, and I just got up and walked out. Okay? So now they're putting it back on me. You see how this bullshit works? You see how the bullshit works? You see how they take things around, and then they never take accountability. Never take accountability for anything. Never. But that's just how it is. That's just how it is. Okay, 22nd of June. We're on week 26. All right. We are here. We got headlines for you guys. Let's go over the Mike in the Night episode 656. Now, 656 is important, guys, because we are at the turning point. Yeah. We are at the turning point, people. People are starting to realize that we are at the turning point. That's 656 for this Monday night. And basically, we're in a Western crisis, productivity crisis, household debt, Chinese money laundering, housing unaffordable for young people, GDP per capita is declining, migration, I'm an immigrant, migration, infrastructure struggling to keep up, healthcare wait times, housing shortages, and we're at a digital prison turning point where they're building this digital prison for us, and it's real, folks. The digital prison is real, and online censorship debates and algorithmic stuff, putting you in areas, deep fakes. We are on an economic turning point, whether it's banking, interest rates, with bond markets, the U.S. dollar, the U.S. debt, the Canadian dollar, right? Stagflation, reduced, people aren't spending money, right? So we are at a global turning point of what if BRICS expands further? Countries de-dollarizing, energy security, one after another. Manufacturing is going down, right? We're not exporting as much. Well, in America isn't exporting. Canada never exports anything. I mean, if they do, it's very little to no. And that one trading partner we have in America, Canada is doing everything. Its government is doing everything it can to destroy ties with America, right? And yeah, there it is right there, folks. We are at the turning point here on episode 656 of Mike in the Nights on this June 22nd, 26th week of the year. All right, folks, here we are. And let's get into email. So if you want to email us and you don't want to miss an episode, MikeMartins1980@gmail.com, MikeMartins1980@gmail.com. Don't forget to email us here. And I would appreciate you just to let me know that you want to be on our mailing list, MikeMartins1980@gmail.com. And viewer discretion is advised, 21 and older. The show is for entertainment purposes only. Fact check and do your own research. 18 U.S. code 2257. And guys, wanted to put that out there for Mike in the Night. So it's 18 U.S. code 2257. All right, we're jumping between screens here. Let's keep going here. We are in the turning point here, and people are starting to wake up to what is happening. All right. So, guys, let's do a quick channel plug if you want to support the transmission. If you want to buy your boy a coffee, there it is right there. Buy Mike a coffee. If you guys want to buy a coffee, there it is right there. Buy Mike a coffee. All right. And, guys, don't... there it is right there, guys, our YouTube channel. I wanted to plug a little bit of our playlists here. We got Adventures in Portugal. We're going over economy, religion, sports, where to live, cost of living. We also have another playlist, Filipino Adventures, Who Wants to Move to the Philippines, if you guys want to check that out. Also, we got our house, our $7,000 house we built in the Philippines. You guys can check that out. And our conspiracy vault, which I keep bringing up all the time. Go check out our conspiracy vault. We have all kinds of good stuff here for you guys on the YouTube channels, nicely organized. And MikeandTheNight.org takes you to our playlist of all our videos. I'm trying to get all the videos up. I put up another 2 more episodes from I think it was 404 and 379. I think I did. And Facebook, we are on Facebook, guys, and most of our stuff is getting out on Facebook. And it was Father's Day. A happy Father's Day to everyone out there. Sorry, should have started off. Happy belated Father's Day to everybody out there. And there's a picture here with my dad. Where is he here? I just saw him. All right, it's freezing up on me. Facebook is freezing up. And Instagram, guys, I'm going to give you the link for the Instagram, guys, for you to call in if you want to call into the show. You could do that through Instagram. You could just call me, and it's on Insta. There it is right there. And where's my dad? There he is right there. There's my dad right there. Happy Heavenly Father's Day to my dad. Man, do I miss the guy. Oof, boy, do I miss him. Miss him every day. Instagram. There it is right there. Just gave you the link. And TikTok. We're on our way out on TikTok. We got another community strike. We're got to 22,000 followers on this one, but we're going to lose this one. And that's just what it is. And if you want to shop Mike Martin's, you can buy something here if you choose to. I think no one this year has bought anything from the store, but that's okay. I put that up there if anybody... If there's any hardcore followers for Mike in the Night, go ahead and pick something up there. All right. Okay. No, I don't have a normal number. I'm sorry. I don't have it connected to the system. We don't get paid to be here. The show has no budget. The show has no budget, guys. No budget. Like I can't afford any of those updated systems or systems like that. I can't do it. Then I don't have no one to screen the calls because I need, if I'm giving out a phone number, I'm going to have hundreds of people call in and it's going to be filled with prank calls. And we used to have a number for the show years ago, if you guys remember, when we're doing Rants and Lifestyle in 2014, 2015. It was just crank calls, one after another. This way with Instagram, it's good they know who you are. It's already set up. And we don't have to deal with just crank call after crank call after crank call. And yeah, that's that. Okay, guys, let's get into some headlines for you guys. All right, we got a lot of people saying hello. Who we got here? We got Moon Jumpin' Jin G. We got saying hello. Trump 1 saying, do you have a real number? Tangible Hope is saying great pick. Yo, Mike. And then who else? Sending love to all the awesome people. Hope you are doing well. That's Maria Christina. Thank you. Silver J56. Yes, sir. Groceries are so high, says Angie Hardy 6451. Thanks, guys. And yeah, Stromer's resigning. We got him. We'll be talking about him here in this show. Not too much to say, but these people are all selected to be put in these positions. You guys know that from watching the show. So, some interesting tidbits coming out of Canada. Let's head over to Canada here real quick. And Canada's inflation rose 3.2% in May, driven again by high gas prices. Again, they're going to be blaming the high gas prices. They're never going to blame property prices because property's really driving up everything. Again, we were tied to Chinese money laundering to prop up our economy, and now we're paying for it. $2.4 to $2.6 trillion laundered by the Chinese through Canadian real estate. Now the price of food, gas, fuel, everything is catching up. And I remember back in 2014, I was making a video. I was getting on an on-ramp on a highway, and I was recording myself driving, and I said, watch when the price of food, gas, energy, all that stuff, water, watch when everything starts catching up to the price of real estate, because eventually it does. And because our real estate is artificially propped by Chinese money laundering. Your mortgage rates were artificially low for so long to compete with the money laundering, the trillions of dollars laundered through our real estate market. And what did we tell you about housing? Food. Sorry, we told you Canadians say it's getting harder for their families to afford food. Food inflation, food prices hidden 7 years ago. Insane food prices, massive food breakouts. Let's look at what we said 10 years ago. So we're replaying older videos for you guys. 60% of Canadian parents worried they won't be able to feed their families 4 years ago. And food prices set to skyrocket. Inflation issue ahead. Alberta, Sydney, Auckland, London, Los Angeles. There it is, 6 years ago. And then we're doing food haul videos. And everyone 5, 6, 7 years ago when I did food haul videos, everyone was laughing at me. Now everyone makes them so they can pay their rent and get money from AdSense. Insane food prices. Food getting expensive due to hidden inflation. You're getting the taste of inflation. Food prices going up. Gas and diesel set to skyrocket 4 years ago. And years we've been saying the same thing. Let's move on to this. Some Canadians are crowdfunding their way through the cost of living crisis. Why? Because Canadians pay too much for real estate. Now, what do we say? Vancouver, the most unaffordable housing markets in North America, pushing out middle class 8 years ago. Where was it? Get out of the city now. Canadians out of reach for housing in their own country. Empty cities. So Canadians are paying too much for real estate because they were competing with Chinese money laundering. They lowered rates to 0% to allow Canadians to get into the market. Now they can't afford to pay their mortgages as interest rates go up. And we warned you guys about rates going up, and you kept telling me, oh, Mike, rates are never going to go up. Rates are never going to go up. And Canadians fleeing Ontario, Canada in a frenetic pace. Ontario now severely unaffordable. Canadians out of the markets. Mortgage carrying costs rise 8% for new buyers next year, 8 years ago. Canadians more indebted. Destruction of Canadian middle class 4 years ago. So we've been trying to warn you guys about this for years, but nobody cared because it actually mattered back then if people paid attention. And food suppliers are adding surcharges to foot the rising cost of fuel. That could mean even pricier groceries, more pricier groceries. Well, here's the problem with that too, and we debunked that 10 years ago. Price of oil dropped, but food prices go up. They can't hide the inflation anymore for foodflation hikes. Why? Back 10 years ago, oil was going down to $20 a barrel. $20 a barrel. But food prices go up. How is that possible when oil was dropping? For the longest time, they told us, well, oil was over $100 a barrel, so food's going to go up, and the cost of transport, the cost of processing the food costs more. But 10 years ago, oil was dropping to $20 a barrel, but food kept going up. Why? Because of this. Price fixing on food. Fixing rising food prices isn't a priority, says Mark Carney. Now, we told you guys back in November 2022 that a man named Mark Carney was going to come to become your prime minister. Everyone laughed at me. I looked up this Mark Carney guy. What the hell are you talking about, Mike? He's a banker, not a politician. Unsub. Well, here we are, folks. Here we are. And now they're coming after your food. And that's what starts sparking even more civil unrest, more civil disobedience when people can't afford to buy food because all the money they have is right here. Tied into the real estate. They're crowdfunding. Why are they crowdfunding for? Because they own real estate. Interest rates are going up. They can't afford to keep it. They compete it with Chinese money laundering. We told you. It's a rift. The housing market is fake in Canada. Its economy is built off of housing. Now, housing is making a correction, and people are losing everything. But you know what? I sleep well at night knowing that I warned you guys about this. Boy, did I ever. Okay. So, someone's saying Mike's rich and makes money off of you. I'm not rich. I'm not even close to being rich. Not even close to being rich. That's saying I make money off your pain. Keep complaining the guy lives in a mansion. No, I live in a 2-stoplight town. In a cul-de-sac in a small town. I have the video up. I left the city. I told you guys to leave the city. So... yeah. All right. Let's get into... okay. Yeah, so let's move it along here. Let's move it along. And Florida sues TikTok over age verification failures as digital ID mandate takes effect. And Florida wants every social media user in the states to prove how old they are. The method is up to the platforms, and the option includes government ID uploads, biometric face scans, payment credential, and behavioral profiling is the key word right here. Now the state is suing TikTok for not doing it fast enough. Attorney General James filed a 66-page complaint on Monday. So there it is. They want HB3 banned social media platforms with addictive design features from contracting with children 13 and younger requires parental consent before 14 and 15-year-olds can open accounts. And violation for fines are $50,000 apiece. And Bill C-34 would require ID for or face scan to use social media. That's in Canada. We've been covering all the C-bills here in Canada. Lots of C-bills, lots of C-bill we've been covering here. And Canada's long-anticipated and dreaded Bill C-34 arrives on June 10th with the usual fanfare about protecting the children. And it's all about basically tracking who you are, where you are, who's using it, when's it being used. And this is a weird one. Fears Australian dashcam company could be putting customers' privacy at risk. So this guy's he's got a dash cam here. And an Australian dashcam company may be putting customers' privacy at risk, broadcasting their location and live camera feed to the world. So what happened was a gentleman by the name of Alex, a jaw dropped when he made an alarming discovery about his new dashcam. I saw the little map icon on the dashcam. I clicked it, and I could see my dashcam. And I zoomed out, I could see everyone else's dashcams. The camera's app broadcasts real-time video feed from other dashcam users around the world. So you could click into other people's dashcams from this one dashcam. That is nuts. Oh boy, is that ever nuts. And over in the UK here, Starmer resigns as Prime Minister. Of course, these people are all fakes. No one voted for these people. Prime Minister Keir Starmer resigns, but sets his own months-long table to go. Well, he's going to go in there and do as much damage as he can before he gets himself out. Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer at times appeared on the verge of tears as he announced that he'd lost the confidence of the governing Labour Party and would resign, but nevertheless set a months-long departure period that will see him through the end of summer. And Nigel Farage demands snap election and declares, I'm not frightened of Andy Burnham. So Nigel Farage wants a snap election because he wants back in. Nigel Farage is our guy. We've been following him here for, since 2012. We've been talking about this guy since 2012 with Brexit and everything and moving forward and cleaning up England, right? So we've been supporting Nigel Farage for a long time now. And Nigel Farage has demanded a snap general election just moments after Keir Starmer confirmed he will resign as Prime Minister pending a Labour leadership contest. So the Reform UK leader, who is currently leading in the opinion polls, set out why he believes the Britons want to go to the polls. So that's very simple. Call the snap election, make it legit, let the people get who they want. Stop with this bullshit match fixing is what it is, like FIFA. Match fixing is what it is. Right? It's all match fixing. It's all it is. Yep, politicians don't fix anything. That's right, Dino Bravo. Yep. So we got Odion Ferradu saying the carnage continues here. Okay, so... All right, let's move on to the UK here. Sorry, guys, I'm just reading your comments here, too. Okay. Okay, so Italy. Here we go. Let's go over to Europe. Tanzanian man convicted for nearly killing an elderly man is now on trial for raping a woman just hours earlier. A Tanzanian man who participated in a night of ultra-violence and alleged rape was also convicted for resisting and arresting and threatening a police officer over deportation proceedings. And, of course, it doesn't show you the guy. And German party leader wants Ukrainians removed from welfare scheme. So there's a lot of Ukrainians on welfare in Germany. Unemployed Ukrainians should be stripped of access to Germany's unemployment and welfare benefit system, the leader of the Christian Social Union has said. He added that deportations and voluntary departures should be stepped up as part of cost-cutting scheme. And in Germany, 2 Syrians convicted for taking turns gang raping a young woman in Düsseldorf. Third suspect still on the run. One of the men initially complained about having a female court interpreter, but was just handed his prison sentence by a female judge. And French activist who was raped by migrant facing jail for saying immigration is the biggest threat to women. Imagine saying that after being raped and you are going to go to jail for saying it? Wow. And in Netherlands, early Dutch man beaten so badly by migrants that his dentures got knocked out. The elderly victim was reportedly shocked by suspects' violent reaction. Wow. What was that? What if that was your grandfather or father getting beaten so badly by migrants that his dentures got knocked out? Imagine that was your father or grandfather getting beat up. What would you do? France. Twerking youths dance and destroyed vehicles at Paris Musical Festival. 243 arrests reported nationwide. And these are the teen takeovers happening in Europe now, and it's going to get worse. And she's lost her zest for life. Mother says her 5-year-old daughter is broken after rape by Chechnyan migrants in French hotel parking lot. And German father, whose daughter was murdered by Palestinian migrant, asks if mourning victims of illegal immigration is now a right-wing extremist after AFD ruling. Yes, it's not right-wing extremist. It's about going back, bringing back the sanity. It's about being pro-policy. It's about protecting your borders. It's about deporting the garbage. That's what it's about, right? It's about, deport the garbage. Get rid of the garbage. Nobody wants these people, right? They don't produce anything. They don't fix anything. All they do is just rape, steal, and pillage. And this is an interesting one out of Guinea here. Guinea, Africa. Guinea's president announces a ban on raw gold exports. So another country in Africa where the Chinese are going in with building mines, stealing African territory, building mines, and then taking out the raw gold to send back to China to... So basically, they're going to be printing their own gold. Guinea's president announced a ban on raw gold exports in an effort to boost local processing of the metal to help domestic economy. Guinea has the second largest gold reserves in West Africa, but it also leaves the country daily its raw state to be processed, certified, and sold elsewhere. He said during a meeting, which was subsequently broadcast on state-owned radio television in Guinea, "I'm putting an end to this starts today," he said. "Guinea will now require its gold to be processed within its own borders. Raw gold will never leave the country." So that's what they're doing right now. And combined total exports are 222,142 kilos in the first quarter of this year. So again, it's a lot of Chinese mines stripping the country of their resources. And that's a bit of stock market stuff here. And let's head over to my favorite part of the show. Forbidden news for Canadians. So, I don't know how old this is. It says it was posted 11 hours ago, but this is at a Carnival cruise. People are, I don't know what they're doing, but they were lining up, and it looks like there was a fight that broke out at Carnival Cruise here. Man, am I thirsty. Man, am I thirsty. Okay. Yeah, this goes on for a while. And they're stealing flags.
Our flags. This is the true Iranian flag. And look at them. Look at this FIFA. Look at the FIFA.
What is going on here?
They're taking.
So FIFA was taking flags, Iranian flags from people in the stadium. FIFA was taking Iranian flags, and they were taking flags from people, just taking them over. It's yeah, they're taking. She's not lying. That's been happening. I don't know, because FIFA's an criminal organization, right? They've been fixing soccer matches since 1932 or whatever it is. And here we go, sellouts. Oh, put that down. Yeah, that's not good for you. Yeah, sellout. There you go, sellout. Sellout. Cristiano Ronaldo looks at that, moves that away. Agua. That's what he says, agua. Right there. Oh, this is a story about Cristiano Ronaldo's cleaner, how he didn't know she was in trouble, but he helped her out. And here are the streets celebrating for Portugal. And they are, I'm going to lower the music there before I get flagged. So there it is right there, celebrating. This is in I think this is from India. I think this is in India, to be honest with you. This is somewhere in India or Indonesia. Sorry, guys, if I can't tell the language there. But it looks like it's Indonesia or something. And I think that's in East Timor, former Portuguese colony. And yeah, former Portuguese colony celebrating Portugal. Look at that, eh? Look at that. You don't see any former British or Spanish colonies celebrating. Yeah. Portuguese was stripped of the world. They had it under control, but it was taken away from them because they were fair. These people wouldn't be waving flags of a former colony if they weren't fair. And Cristiano Ronaldo meets a fan. Buddy goes nuts for him. Look at that. Meets a fan, gets a picture of him. I got that shirt too. He gets his camera ready. His camera isn't ready. Wow. It is FIFA, guys. And here's, I think this is Dustin. I think this is Dusty Rhodes' son here. Putting up a Portugal flag here. So the whole world celebrating Portugal. And where is this? This has got to be, again, in Indonesia. It's got to be somewhere. It could be in Sri Lanka, too. This could be in Sri Lanka. It just is not giving me a proper... So this could be in this language. I'm not sure if it's Sri Lankan or if it's Hindu. I can't tell. But there it is right there. Support for Portugal, the love for Portugal. And how China controls its rural wealth narrative. So a lot of people in China are living in extreme poverty. The technology, the lights, the glamour, the glitz, the whole... Yeah. And most corrupt player in history is football. In the history of football. There it is right there. There's Messi being a baby. Loses the ball. The guy strips him of the ball. Goes back and pushes him. Like, yeah. And again, more Portugal celebration. And I don't know this language. I can't read it. This was a few days ago, but I can't read this language. Someone could tell me where this is. But there's another, yeah, it's all Portugal, all over the world, all over the world. This is in Indonesia. This is Indonesia. Yep. Oh, the Portuguese were good people, believe me. Oh, the colonists, and they raped us and destroyed us. No, not the Portuguese. And a lot of match fixing going on already. You could already tell it's staged. Every World Cup is staged. And 22 shot, 4 killed in 12 hours across Chicago, including 12 shot in the June 10th mass shooting. And none of this gets covered anywhere. This doesn't make headlines anywhere. They try to hide this from everywhere. And college students flood entire garage after using a water pipe as a pull-up bar. So I don't know how much water ended up getting in there, but a lot of it got in there. And I don't know how flooded it got, but it got flooded pretty bad. And Indian woman makes fun of homeless men's smell. So she's making fun of a homeless man smelling, right? And it's kind of funny, like, I don't understand, like, I could get in deep with this, but I'm not going to get into deep with this. But, yeah, Indian woman makes fun of homeless man. And Portugal fans clean up stadium after game. They brought their own garbage bags and they're cleaning up the stadium. And 16-year-old confronts a migrant who was touching himself while watching her. He gets thrown off the bus. They closed shops. FIFA agreed.
Oh, that's why everything's closed.
That's why they're protesting. Yeah, that's
Wait. So they make them close all the businesses.
Yes, so that FIFA makes money.
So no one buys from them.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So that's why they protested.
But
No sabía eso, pero no sabía
sí,
eso.
los maestros, los farmers todos están protestando porque forzaron a todos, cerraron su negocio para que la FIFA, que para que compre. Sí, ¿tú crees?
Eso es abuso, bro.
No,
Eso es abuso.
It's an abuse. FIFA's forcing shops to close.
Why they're fucking protesting. Before I was thinking, why no one is selling beers here? Why there's no every stand like street sellers? That's against the free market. Mexico without cars and without people.
Yep. So they're forcing shops to close. FIFA's forcing it. Criminal organization. And migrants are burning stuff up, smashing things, destroying things. Didn't build a damn thing. Can't fix a thing. Just blow stuff up. And Doug Ford booed by protesters at Ford Fest in Scarborough. And there it is, guys. There it is. Doug Ford. Fat face Ford. German police confront Islamic mob. Officers show no hesitation in maintaining order. And there it is. Maintaining order. German police are maintaining order. And this is Paris tonight, a war zone. Muslims are literally destroying Europe. This is a total war of conquest. And we told you this was going to happen 10 years ago. And people just called me a racist. And German police educate combat Muslim immigrants. Guys, they're not immigrants, they're migrants. Immigrants come to build the country. Right? And massive immigration protests are up in Netherlands. Oh, they're playing music on this one. And Moroccan migrants are rioting in Brussels. And passenger opens emergency exit door during Asian Airlines landing. 12 hospitalized. And who do you want? Who do you prefer? So they're asking Mexicans on the street. Who do you prefer?
Campeón del mundo 1000 veces.
¿Por qué?
Por Cristiano Ronaldo, el mejor jugador de todos los tiempos.
¿Y eso que traes la de México?
No, traigo la de Portugal también, mira.
He's got a Mexico and a Portugal.
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 ¿Por qué?
Por reconocen el fútbol.
Amiga, ¿qué prefieres? ¿Que México sea campeón del mundo o que Cristiano Ronaldo sea campeón del mundo?
Que Cristiano Ronaldo sea campeón del mundo, obviamente.
Yo creo que Cristiano sea campeón del mundo.
¿Por qué? Eres mexicano, güey.
Soy mexicano, pero pues la selección no trae mucho y el bicho es último mundial.
Ah, que Cristiano, la neta. La verdad sí.
Güey, todos están diciendo eso.
Sí, es que pues la selección, o sea, teníamos más años para quedar campeones, ¿no? Cristiano ya es el último año que puede quedar campeón, la verdad.
¡Sí!
Que Cristiano Ronaldo sea campeón del mundo.
¿Por qué?
So everyone's, even in Mexico, want Cristiano Ronaldo to win this thing. But FIFA won't allow it. FIFA will never allow Portugal to win a damn thing because it's all staged. Here it is, guys. Ooh, some guys in Target. Just fighting with multiple people. What the hell is going on? And you know what? These people don't even know each other. That's crazy, man. And the Silva name here, a little bit food for thought so you guys know. I'm going to raise the volume on this. Give me a sec.
Are you okay?
Right here.
Silva. One Latin word, forest. The #1 surname in Portugal and in Brazil. How does a word for a tree become a name for 40 million people? It starts in medieval Portugal. Landowners named themselves after the land they owned. Forests were valuable. The family that owned one became Da Silva, of the forest. Over generations, the Da fell away. Silva remained. In 1500, Pedro Álvares Cabral sailed west and claimed Brazil for Portugal. Over the next 3 centuries, millions crossed the Atlantic. They brought their language, their faith, and their surnames. Silva came with them. Brazil now has 24 million Silvas. More than any country on earth, more than the country that created the name. Portugal's African colonies followed. In Angola, Portuguese rule lasted 400 years, from the 1570s until 1975. Silva arrived with the first settlers and stayed through independence. Cape Verde and Mozambique tell the same story. Portuguese colonies, Portuguese names. In the 20th century, emigration carried Silva further. Portuguese workers settled in France and Luxembourg. Communities from Portugal, Brazil, and Cape Verde all reached America. Silva followed every one of them. One Latin word, one medieval forest, #1 in Portugal, #1 in Brazil. Top 5 in 5 other countries. Silva is now on every continent.
There it is, folks.
Silva.
That's pretty cool. I wanted to share that with you. One of the biggest surnames in the Portuguese world. There's the hidden side of China that you don't see. Behind the skylines, the side of China rarely anyone shows online. Imagine the drinking water, how it gets contaminated. It's so close to the nice parts. Imagine the drinking water. Imagine the conditions. Oh my god. There's the Chinese students in a hostel. And Japanese students sprayed deodorant because a Chinese passenger smelled unpleasant. Oh, that's going on there. Portugal cleaning up. We covered that already. That's, well, picking up that scarf there. Good boy. There's Messi. There's Ronaldo. There's Messi. There's Ronaldo. There's Messi. There's Ronaldo. There's Messi. There's Ronaldo. Big difference. Same game, different players. And there's a girl filling up her Tesla with gas. And people are honking at her. That could start an electrical problem and blow up the whole gas station. That could blow up the entire gas station. But everyone's entitled. No one listens to nobody. Immigrants hits Canadian woman over Costco parking spot. Again, it's migrants. There's immigrants and migrants. They need to change that. And Brampton, Ontario, I don't know what happened here on this intersection, but there's like 1, 2, 3, 4 cars. And that's that for that, folks. Woo! All right, guys. That's our all right, guys. There it is. All right, so there's people. Okay. Let's see what's going on in the comments here. We got Lord Humongous, a.k.a. Robert Keegan. You see him there? Robert Keegan, if you're watching on Facebook, you can see Robert Keegan in the live chat. Everybody was kung fu fighting. Oh, yeah. Okay, so let's rock and roll here. Okay. Let's rock and roll here, guys. Let's start opening lines. It's line time. Let's open up lines here on Mike in the Night. Episode 656. Sorry, guys, I'm reading 13 different screens here. And let's see who we can get on the show, guys. Just message me on Instagram if you want to come on. And the turning point, 656. It is Mike in the Night. Let's find ourselves a caller here.
It's 3 a.m. in a one-stop town. Neon buzz and the world shut down. Coffee's cold, but the mic's still warm. There's a storm outside and another reform. Headlights roll down Highway 8. Folks still talking about the state of the state. Bills go up, paychecks thin. Feels like a house always wins. But there's a voice on the air tonight, cutting through that pale moonlight. Mike in the Night, on the AM line. Truth coming through like a county sign. You can run, you can hide, you can close your eyes, but you feel that moving deep inside. At 3 a.m. when the silence is broken, old guitar and the truth outspoken, no teleprompter, no token, just a man saying I have spoken. Small town farmers sit at trays, trying to read through the masquerades. Paper headlines, polished lies, but you can see it in the people's eyes. Granddad said, son, stand tall, don't let fear build your walls. Mama prayed by the kitchen light, keep your heart strong through the fight. So he turns that dial a little more, like knocking on a closed back door. Mike in the Night, on the AM line.
All right, guys, we're going to get Glenn, Canada's most famous homeless guy, on the show. He's down in Vancouver, and he wants to talk about the FIFA flop. But he's on a bike right now, so he's going to go have a seat somewhere. And that is our boy Glenn, Canada's most famous homeless man, on Mike in the Night. He's a really good guy. I love having him on the show. And someone's saying this is the best show on YouPoop. YouPoop? Yeah. So the stream is on a major lag right now, folks. The stream's on a major lag because we are seeing okay, I'm just looking at the chat here. We're going to get Glenn on. In a few seconds here, he's going to find a place to park his bike. And we'll get him on right now. And he's down in Vancouver, and he's basically going to cover the FIFA flop. All right, let's get him on right now. Yeah, he had to go to a quiet spot. No problem.
Hey, Mike.
Glenn, how you doing, buddy? Guys, this is Glenn, Canada's most famous homeless man here on Mike of the Night. So good to have you on, buddy.
I'm a professional hobo. What can I say, man? I got hobo pride.
You're a good guy, Glenn, and we love you. Now, you want to talk about the FIFA flop down in Vancouver. What is going on?
Nothing. The only time that it was busy at all so far, it's been on for 2 weeks, was the Canada. Canada played what? Angola, some Senegal, some middle of Africa country or something?
Qatar, I think it was.
The rich guys. Yeah, well,
was it Qatar? I can't remember, guys. I don't even remember. Okay, what happened?
Well, then there was people on the trains in the public spaces at the rapid bus. I didn't go to any of the events on that day. That was just the first day that I actually seen people out in crowds. But you know what? It wasn't as busy as the normal BC Lions. If that was like a weekday, like a Friday or a Thursday, and it was a BC Lions game, there'd be your 30,000 people. You know, that was it.
So the World Cup's dead.
Yeah, if it was a playoff, if it was BC Lions playoffs, it would have been busier. The whole city. It's like, but that was Canada playing, and everybody was hip, hip, hurrah, yay. And there were so many red jerseys. And they all, I don't know who number 19 Davis is, but there's some number 19 Davis or Davies or something.
Yeah.
He's the hero. There's a clone. There's a clone. Some of them are women, some of them are men, but they're number 19 clones.
And the venues were dead.
Yeah, what I saw of the, what I've done is
I'm saying for every other match in Vancouver that was going on there, it was dead.
Yes.
Non-Canada
when
match.
I've gone around.
Yeah,
on the weekends.
Yeah.
Saturdays, in the middle of the day at noon, 2 o'clock, I've gone around. I've taken pictures at these places. There's people there, but it's nowhere near as much as the Olympics.
Like 45, 50 people.
Yeah, like other places that there's like, every time the bus lets out, there's, I don't know, maybe not even 30 or 45 people, but 25, and they get off the bus and they go across the street and they go every street corner. You know the one at Hastings and Renfrew?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, right by the P&E. Right. That's their main gate number 1.
Yeah.
The rapid bus goes there. The special bus goes there. There's like one cop on each corner to direct traffic, but there's less people there than if it was the normal P&E. If it was the P&E.
So, like, if there's a regular P&E provincial, what does P&E stand for? National Exhibition or something?
Yeah, Provincial National Exhibit, I think.
Exhibition, yeah. So, when there's a normal P&E day, there's more people there than there is for the World Cup, is what you're saying.
Yeah, P&E's not till, I don't know, July or something.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm saying there's more people at the P&E on the rides and stuff than there is for the World Cup.
Yeah, at the end of July. See, I'm thinking it might be because it's still middle of June. So that's the thing. The amusement park is open in June, but it's not now because of FIFA. So if it was just the amusement park and school was out like at the end of June, it's like it would be busier then. It's like give or take, you know, on a weekday versus a weekend, or what times the games are. I've got to trace down when the games are going up, because like I said, when the Canadian game went on, it's like as if all the fans from it's like a normal, I would say slower than a hockey game, but about as busy as the BC Lions. But lots of BC, there's lots of fans for the BC. Everybody loves the BC Lions.
Yeah.
You know, they're the home team that doesn't disappoint.
Right. I understand. So
yeah.
It's basically dwindled, right? It was like when I was there for the Olympics in 2010 in Vancouver. They gated everything off. They closed down everything. They moved all the bums out of town, and in 2010, and I remember there was nobody at the games. It was just completely dead. My mall was dead. I was across the street from Rogers Arena, my mall. I was in the Tinseltown Mall, and it was dead. There was nobody in the mall. It was like dead, and that was the slowest season I ever had in the history of my business being there for 13 years. The slowest season I think I've had was during the Olympics. Was the worst. The worst.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like that. When I go to Main Street, when I go to Commercial Drive, if it was a normal World Cup, and let's say they were playing in Belize or Brazil or Singapore, there would be more people at the local bar.
Yeah.
It's the economy. The economy is so bad. Everything is like, I don't know. I want to say like 1/4 to 1/2 normal. It's like it's more than 50%. Sometimes people go out of town, but it's like school's not over yet. You know what I mean? If people have gone out of town for the summer, sometimes you see it gets dead. But you know what? I go around to all these work sites. There's nobody working there. They got
look. I don't know if you remember this, but I know you like my 15-year ago rants, right? But 15 years ago, I was you know what I was calling this, Glenn?
What, Ghost Town?
No. I was calling this a certain name on my videos. I got about 50, 60 videos with this. Skyscraper Dark Ages ahead.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I can see it. Those are the empty buildings.
Yep, that's what I've been calling Vancouver and all these major cities in the West Coast, in Los Angeles and San Francisco, Vancouver or Portland and what was that? It was Seattle. Skyscraper Dark Ages. That's what I've been calling it for years, my brother. And now it's happening.
Oh, in the rural parts, it's even worse.
Yes,
I watch these videos. These real estate agents from Kelowna, they're saying that Kelowna has so many problems. They can't find anybody who's young, any young families that want to actually move in and grow up there. It's all old people who've come there to die, and the fast turnaround, and they can't. So nobody's just even going there. They don't want to move. It's too expensive.
Yeah.
Was like, what's the point? Well, if I sell here, I'm not even going to be able to move in there. I can sell here and I can buy in over there, but what happened to my retirement? How do I buy my medication? Oh, it looks like we're going to have to stay here. They can't sell into a depressed market. There's all these buildings that it would be 85, 90% complete. They could complete it because it's the summer. They've got 2-3 months. If they had crews, 40, 80, 90 people, they could finish these buildings on these complex and these whole townhomes or these whole skyscraper projects. It's got the envelope on it. It's got the roof on it. It just needs, the rest. And they have
builders are running out of money. People are walking away from deposits, right?
They're all, there's like maybe between 2 and 12 people working on a site where there should be 40 or 100 people. There's 2 or 4 contractors guys there. They look like they're from the general contractor. Oh my gosh, is that a heron? Wow, that thing it is a heron. It's flying right underneath the bridge. We're just here in North Van. Pretty nice, pretty cool.
Right on. Any other observations you want to let us know? We got the real estate, we got the FIFA flop. What else?
I've seen the Eastern European hookers. It's the imported. Wow. They've imported the prostitutes for FIFA.
Really?
They're like not doing anything. Yeah, because it's women who speak Eastern European.
Interesting.
They're like speaking, I don't know if it's Czech or Romanian or something. They don't know where they are. There's soccer like hooches that they have a jersey and they're there with their girlfriends and they're just looking for somebody to spend money or you know, to mooch off of, right? To go and have a party. Well, their rate at the cafes, the patios, they're there with their girlfriend, you know, younger women with jerseys that you wouldn't think of as soccer fans, right? Well, they're, you know, maybe the locals or stuff, but there's these other women who, if they're by the SkyTrain, they're sitting like way off to the bench that's like way away from people and they're on their phones. And then they get a message and then they go over to meet a car, but they're standing on the wrong corner. And then the guy's like beeping, like expensive car, you know, beeping and waving from the other side. Like they don't know where they are. They're not here. They're touristas, but they're not here for the event. They're here for something else. And they're dressed like high-priced hookers and they're in pairs. I've seen the phenomenon a couple of times in a couple of weird areas that you're like, hey, geez, what are these ladies up here? Because, you know, I stop my bike and I sit down, get some water, roll a joint, you know, have a smoke break before I get on the train, you know what I mean? So I've just been like, oh, this is an odd thing. Let's, you know, people watch. But there's a red helicopter. There's some sort of special helicopter that I've never seen around here. So I don't know if it's cameras or if it's flying dignitaries or that FIFA president. Apparently he gets as much special cop protocols as like the Chinese consulate or as like an actual consulate, a diplomat member.
Well, FIFA's a ruthless organization. It's just match fixing, organized inside betting. Remember, FIFA got raided in 2014 or 2015. I can't remember, but in 2014, 2015, the CIA raided FIFA, and it was all internal match fixing. It was all match fixing. FIFA chooses who wins the World Cup. You don't win you don't win the World Cup because you're a good team. The FIFA makes the choice who wins. It's always scripted, and we've been saying this for 15 years or 20 years. Well, I've been saying it for 30 years in my life, but I've been saying for 15 years online, and nobody cares.
On record.
Yeah. Nobody cares. I've been trying to say this for years, and nobody cares. So
everywhere I go, I just see extra cops, extra security standing around. It's as if it was for Canucks playoff game, a BC Lions playoff game. Like I've seen it. I've been, you know, when it's like, playoffs and stuff. And every time that the light changes, 60 or 100 people, and they need the police to, hey, stop going. We can't, no more people walk across the street, and they're directing the pedestrians as well as the traffic. They have the police as if there's that many people, but every time they cross the street, maybe if the bus just lets off, maybe 15 or 20 people will cross the street, but most of the time, it's like 2, 4, a couple groups of 3 or 4 go across the street. And some of them, you can tell, they don't have anything to do with the soccer. It's just some, you know, old lady who lives down the street or something, and it's just some little old lady who's going by with her, you know, cart from the groceries or something. And you're like, no, she's going the other way. Yeah, not going in the direction of the stadium. Most people are going in the direction of the stadium, and there's people there with their kids, but I just see all these cops just standing around. And then you look, and there's transit security, there's these Genesis security, there's these other privacy, and you're like, all I do is see security like picking each other's noses or other orifices, and they're not even bothering people.
Yeah.
They could. They could at any moment, just like as if I haven't heard anything about soccer hooligans out west here. I only heard about the soccer hooligans in Toronto, but there's not enough people. It's not that the people are, it's just there's not enough people. Even if somebody was all drunk and making a row, it'd be like, hey, who's that guy? What's he doing yelling over there? Let's go deal with this. Boom. It'd be dealt with in like under 3 or 4 minutes. There's nothing that's going to like get out of control that they need that many police there for, because they've just massive budgets. Everybody's just collecting overtime, or everybody's just collecting special wages. It's just spending for security people to have jobs. And I don't know if they're on 10 or 12-hour shifts, but they're just, you ask them, they don't speak English. You ask them about this. One guy comes over and starts talking to you, and everybody else is like a recent transplant from, you guessed it, Indo-Asia.
India, yeah.
For the security companies, I mean.
India, yeah, you could just say it's India, yeah.
Well, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, anywhere.
And you got
around
Somalians too that work in. I know some Somalian guys that work in security too. Yeah, I know some, yeah. So there's a bit. It's a mix, right? But it's non-Canadians though.
Hell yeah! It's like people who they have such a difficulty with ESL. You can't even ask them what day it is versus what day the next thing is happening. Oh, when is this? Oh, what time is this? They can't even, you couldn't even carry on a conversation about the weather with these people. They have and you're like, oh, really? It's nice that you have a job and you just showed up here and wonderful. So those are the kind of people that are getting all kinds of extra wages. And anybody that, lives here and would actually be able to do a good job and talk to tourists and say, oh, well, this is this direction. Oh, and that's that direction over there. No, they're not getting no job for 22 or 24 bucks an hour.
It's really sad that you're homeless and you could help out and do work and actually get stuff done. And yeah.
Oh, hell no. I don't want anything to do with that. I know a friend. That's the guy he went to.
I'm not talking about security. I'm talking about bigger ventures. I'm talking about. I'm not talking about security. Oh, yeah,
I can do much better stuff than that. No, my friend, he works sometimes for Playland. So he already had an in there, and then he applied for the FIFA, and then he already got hit in the head with a soccer ball, so he missed a shift, and it's like, so I don't know what he's doing, but somehow he shows up, and then somebody's going to mail him a check for like $156 something, just to stand around, wear a goofy jacket, and direct people to parking at times.
Yeah. Okay.
Lots of cops, no actual problems. I haven't seen nobody's like getting ornery or out of line out here.
Well, there's not a lot of people.
I'm thinking, that's what I mean.
There's not a lot of people for that.
No, that's what I mean. That it's a normal Canucks game, a normal season game would have as many, if not more, people in the downtown, in the bars, on the trains, coming after the game left, going out to Granville or Richards or Yaletown after the game's over to, everybody's like families with their kids. It's like, okay, afternoon's over, time to go home now. And it's, I think, a whole bunch of businesses that were holding their breath, waiting for this FIFA to make their millions to make it through the summer. They're going to be like, okay, we're just going to close up this isn't working out.
A lot of places are going to close up. They can't compete. There's the same thing with the Olympics back in 2010 in Vancouver when I had my shop. The Olympics came. It was the biggest drought. I went through a 2.5 month drought during the Olympics in 2010. It was horrible. I think there was days in the mall where half the stores in the mall were just closed. They didn't even open their stores. It was so bad.
Yeah, well, why do it? Why pay somebody a wage at 18 or 20 bucks an hour to sit there and ring a cash register when the only thing coming in every hour is like $20 in sales? Like,
no, not even.
How can you even do the overhead? 8 days in a row
I didn't make a sale during the Olympics in 2010. And I was right across the street from the stadium where the Canucks play, right across where the venues were.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, nobody cares. Nobody knows. They're not the same touristas as get off the cruise ships and then want to go and buy a shirt in Gastown, that they want to buy a hat that has a Canadian flag or a grizzly bear or a beaver on it, something like that that's unique in Vancouver and also made in China. But, the little old ladies on the cruise ships, every cruise ship, they say, docking in Vancouver, it drops however many millions directly. I bet you the cruise ships are more profitable than this soccer thing by like magnitudes of, the little old ladies that go and collect those silver spoons from all over the place. They would actually spend money.
They have disposable income. They're the age bracket where they have the disposable income and they have, their life's coming, it's coming to an end, and they know it, and they're enjoying it, and they're, no one's going to come and blow money in Vancouver or blow money in for a night in Vancouver. Nobody's staying $3,200 for 3 nights in Vancouver. Nobody's doing that. It's no. Empty city, empty shell, full of just full of homeless people everywhere. It doesn't add up. It's not worth it. It's not that glamour city of that it used to be back in the 80s. In the 80s, it was a great city, Vancouver, but now it's a joke, right?
Vancouver has always been the smallest little city or the biggest big town.
Mm-hmm.
We never really. It's like we're a sister city to Seattle. We're not, but they're going to compete with the property prices with Taipei and Tokyo and LA. It doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Seattle's trying to catch up to us because they're like, oh, it's a runaway train. Maybe we can do some of this fraud in the property market too.
Yeah, they did.
And what happened was
when Vancouver put on the foreign buyers tax, I have the article. I could bring it up again. I have the article in 2016 that the Chinese were going in a frenetic pace to Seattle and Toronto, both, and destroyed both housing markets overnight. Literally overnight, destroyed both housing markets.
Yeah, the next quarter later, all the numbers are all screwy from what they've been for the last decade or something. Now they can't. These places are just empty. I'm going around and there's places for rent all over the place. All these buildings, they're not finishing because the other building that they already finished in that complex, they can't get anybody to move in to rent it for these $3,000, $3,200 a month for.
Yeah, no, because they got to cover their mortgages, right? So a lot of Canadians bought into this housing market, competing with Chinese money laundering, thinking that they're going to make a big mint, and the renter's going to pay my mortgage, and I'm just going to get away scot free. No, they're not. Now, how many for rents and empty buildings are you seeing in Vancouver?
Oh, they're putting up signs in front of the property again. It used to be no students are showing up in September. Mm-hmm. It's been a couple years since COVID, and I don't know, 400. They're saying, it's how student enrollment is down by like half a million.
They're going to blame that, but I'm talking about the actual people that work in the city and actually fund the infrastructure and pay taxes. It's empty everywhere. Is it the skyscraper dark ages like we've been saying?
Yeah, I would say, you know what? Put me on record. I'm saying the population, the people who actually sleep at night in Vancouver, it's more like 400,000.
Yep. That's something I was estimating that years ago, Glenn, because everybody has to come into the city because they can't afford to live in the city. They come into the city to work.
Yeah. And then at the night, Kitsilano out by UBC, it's dead there. At night, there's nobody around. It's like, whoa, what happened? You go into the stores like, 8 or 9 or 10 o'clock, and it's like, and a whole bunch of the little corner stores, they're all shutting down because in that neighborhood, 20, 25, 30% of the houses are empty. So they don't have 3, 4, 5 people in them. There's not enough people who come by and buy lotto tickets and smokes and kids to buy pop and candy. Mm-hmm. The corner stores. And then some developer takes out the corner lot, buys the next 2 houses on, puts up a fence. It's empty. It's dormant. They don't pay tax. When they have their development proposal in, it's stagnant. They're not paying property tax. So everybody else on that block has to make up for those 3 houses out of 12, 3, 4 houses.
So they got
to
crank up the taxes. They got to crank them up to keep up with, because the city is going broke, right? So if the city goes broke, and a majority of those Chinese owners that are laundering this money through Vancouver, Burnaby, Sur, whatever, they don't want to pay tax. So it's hurting the city. So they're going to have to raise taxes for the people that do pay taxes, right? So this is a big problem. It's empty shell. All the Canadian cities have become this, and I've been prophesizing for so many years. Skyscraper dark ages ahead. It's coming to a city near you because affordability is not going to be there. You won't be able to afford to live and function in a major city in Canada. And I was saying it by 2020. I was giving it to 2020. And then, boom, they pulled the trigger on a pandemic, shut everything down. locked everything down for 2 years, and then boom, we're back, and now they're raising interest rates to hedge against inflation, and we're back at the game again. And bond markets are going up. We're in a lot of trouble, Glenn. Glenn, we are in trouble. Canada as a whole is in a lot. Now, because the price of food and fuel is starting to catch up to the price of real estate, guess what? People can't afford to eat now. And I predicted that 10, 15 years ago, and here we are now. And the videos are up if people want to watch them.
Nice. Yeah, I'm seeing it right in front of so many people. They were like, yay, I'm going to get all this rent, $1,000 a night. There's all these rentals posted. They're down to $750 for a room. You know, it's whether it's a night or a month. I've seen the price decrease already 20, 25, 30% in the last 3 months since just over this springtime. I'm holding off for the end of summer. I'm waiting until this FIFA thing blows over and everybody goes, oh my God. We didn't make any money. This is actually, we're way down. It's down below a normal summer.
Big time. Empty shell. Cities are turning into empty shells. And 10 cities. What about 10 cities in Vancouver? I know they're popping up everywhere over SkyTrain, overpasses, all kinds of places. There are 10 cities popping up. Are they moving them along for FIFA, or are they staying in town? Have you noticed?
This is what I've seen. See, because I use a very guerrilla, covert, you know what I mean? I move places every few days, I don't stay in any place for any longer than a week or two or something like that. But I know good spots all over the place. But see, I don't associate with the people who do drugs. So there's some sort of intel that I'm definitely, I've been talking to people that I can, but I just run into them as like a one-off, and they're kind of like, yeah, I stick to myself. Yeah, I avoid other people who they're involved in the liquor or in the drugs. But I've seen right by the SkyTrain line, right by the one by Renfrew or something. I saw a bunch of tents there, and I was like, oh, geez, maybe on my way I could go. And I've seen places where people have been camped out at, and then I don't go there in a few days to see if I could get an interview or talk to somebody and be like, hey, what's going on? You had trouble, and they're gone. It seems like as though the people are getting harassed by the bylaw or by the police, but it's just like as a one-off, as a pick on this person, and they just move.
The sad part about this, Glenn, is they're picking on people that can't afford to live in the real estate there, because a $70,000 one-bedroom condo isn't supposed to cost $800,000, right?
I know.
$130,000 three-bedroom condo is not supposed to cost $1.2 million. That's the problem Canada has, and that's what we've been trying to tell people. And now, what about needles? I know all the beaches last week they were having issues along the beaches there, in Vancouver. With a ton of trash and needles everywhere. I saw it on was it Global News? I think it was covering just an incredible. They got the little tree trunks on the beach, right? But you got to be careful, because someone stepped on a needle, and there was a needle in the sand, and it's disastrous. It's
disgusting. They give them out. It's easy come, easy go.
They give out the needles, so they have needles now, right? So they could use them, but then they don't dispose of them correctly. So they're all over the beaches down there, apparently. Stanley Park, everywhere.
Oh, I can see that around downtown. I've been avoiding downtown as much as I possibly can. And if I do go there, I only go there in like the daytime, middle of the day. So I can, it's like these places you gotta, see, the thing is I go for places that is like far out of the way on the bike path, and then a dog path, or then I just walk off into the bush and I find myself a good spot or two. But the people on drugs, they just will camp out in, the place that's close to stores or the drug dealer. So they're the ones that heat themselves out, and 4 or 5 days later they've got the neighbors calling in. Not even 1-2 days later the neighbors are calling in, the cops are moving them along, they leave a mess. I know, because I found good spots that somebody's been used. And so you look at the evidence, you clean up the broken meth pipes or the broken the garbage and stuff, and you leave the spot cleaner than when you got there. But it's like, this evidence is from at least last year. I haven't seen place, but I'd say there's even less homeless people in Vancouver than before 2016, 17, 18 for sure. I'd say there's half as many people. There's people out here.
Again, skyscraper dark ages. It's empty.
Yeah.
It's going to be empty. Canadian cities are turning into empty shells. And we prophesized this years ago. Oh, Canada's too powerful. This, that. We're major exports to America. Now Canada is fighting with America purposefully to destroy us even further. And our government hasn't done a damn thing. And it's going to get worse.
Made it worse. Carney's in Trump's back pocket or something. He's a double agent. He's working for MI6 and the Brits that want to, whether it's the Yankees or the Brits that are going to come up and buy stuff for pennies on the dollar, it's going to be somebody who's foreign controlled, whether it's the Chinese, the Brits, or the Yankees. You just line them up. Okay, here you go. Buy this for pennies on the dollar.
Canada. The Chinese have trillions and trillions and trillions in Canada. And once that farmland starts to become a problem, once America starts looking at the amount of farmland that the Chinese communists own in Canada, we're going to be in trouble, Glenn. Watch when that happens. Yeah. Everything I've been saying has been happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, watch when they look into the farmland. And then you're going to see it on the news line or a headline or something, or someone's going to say it and say, Mike Martins told me this. It's going to come, just like I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. I can totally see it. It's right now, it's like the sanctions. It's like they're sanctioning Canada to get at the Chinese. They're sanctioning Canada to get at their trade deals with Mexico, and they're gonna, what are they? The U.S. is the big guy in town. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, well, if we're not in the big guy in town's buddy club, we're shit out of luck.
SOL.
We don't have anything else. We've ever since the 60s, they've just been like, take all the boat industry, all the logging.
They've been gutting it out, and the locals.
All the resources.
They've been gutting it out. They've been gutting and turning the cities into empty shells. That's all they've been doing, right? It started with Vancouver, then it went to Toronto, then they did Calgary, then Edmonton, then Winnipeg. They're gutting the cities out. They're gutting them out piece by piece like corporations. And they're empty shells, right? They look good on paper with population, with tax earnings, with this, that. But realistically, it's a failing disaster is what it is.
Oh, they're lying about the population.
Oh, lying. Population's bullshit. I've been telling you this for years now. People laugh at me.
There's such high rates of abortion. And since that COVID, so many of the old stock Canadians have been dying, whether if they're in the geriatric, if they're only dying 5 years or 3 years prematurely, well, they're still dying early and they're still not here anymore.
Right.
And their houses, their property, their inheritance, where did everybody go? Ever since COVID, I remember before COVID, if you wanted to get a place and you wanted to get a place to rent, oh my God, heaven help you if you were looking in that September time when all the students just show up. Those students aren't coming here anymore. They need to be shipping in a jumbo jet with 500 people from India every hour, just like they can't even, the price of fuel, nobody's coming. The only people that are coming here are people who have had to change their name, and whether it's gangs or whether it's
a lot of governments in those third world countries are emptying. We covered this back in 2019 and 2020. I was getting death threats about this one. I was talking about Somalia, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, India, China. They were opening up their prison system and bringing in criminals and giving them the documentation they need to get into Canada legally. And giving them the documentation to come into Canada. And I was covering that in 2019, 2020. And I was, buddy,
God bless you, Mike.
They were threatening to blow me up into pieces and mail me to the North Pole.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Santa's wish list. Ho, ho,
I'm not joking.
Ho, ho.
I'm not kidding you. They threatened me and they threatened my family and everything. Oh boy. So I stopped that real quick.
Yeah, I don't live in Surrey anymore because the gangs think I'm a rat. The cops think I'm a kook, and you're stuck in the middle. You can't win. You're like, I'm trying to report the crime that's going on right in front of my face. Oh no, you're crazy. Well, the gangs still see you ratting them out. So they're like, go get the rat. You're like, Mr. Police Officer, the guy, of his own volition, he says he's in a gang. Like, oh, well, you don't know the name of the gang. And lots of people say lots of things. So we don't have anything to go on.
Yeah.
Every time. Well, geez, I don't know the name of the gang. He didn't like roll up a flaming death skull tattoo on his arm. So I guess I don't know the name of the gang. Maybe they're some sort of who the hell knows?
Yeah.
There's that Bacon guy who just got out of jail.
Mm-hmm.
There's all these Hells Angels chapter houses that are in North Surrey there that just all amalgamated into one. They closed up. They say, okay, here's your territory back. Go fight with the Brothers Keepers. Go fight with the Bangla Bonsai or whatever that, Bishnu.
Yeah.
These things are it's all like fabricated. If they're not, the Red Alert Native gang, well, then they're like invading. You know what I mean? Like, unless they're like with the actual Native gangs that are here and running out of the jails and stuff, well, you're foreign invaders, buddy. Like, why are you? But the Native gangs get on with the Spanish because they're like, oh yeah, we don't like whitey. Okay, we'll be friends. And then the Spanish, they kill the Native guys' customers and put the bad shit on the Native guys to take over their customers and their territory, because the Native gangs are actually pushovers. They've been beat down by both sides. You know what I mean? Like, they're losing. There's a losing battle, and I don't know what's going to be going on here on the streets because the Hells Angels, they're just pulling out. They're just all old men who they made their money on the legit. They haven't been spending any stretches of 6 or 8 or 10 years in jail lately, so they just want to keep it that way. And they're like, oh, yeah, violence? Oh, okay, great. We'll move out. Here you go. You can take over these businesses. I'll take a buyout. Oh, yeah, whatever.
Right.
We'll just...
All right, Glenn, we're going to try and see if we get another caller on the show here tonight. But you've been on for a good long chunk of time reporting.
No doubt.
But we'll get you back on again, buddy. Keep reporting for us. Take some pictures and let us know what's going on. Okay, bud?
Yeah, the FIFA, it's a total bust. I'd say it's like, I don't know, slower than this time in a regular summer. It's just sleepers, and it's like, where did there's people with the jerseys, but I don't see like throngs of people. There's just one person with a jersey any time of the day, and then sometimes it's like a guy with a cricket jersey. You know what I mean? It's like, well, geez, it's kind of like summer. There might be some sports playoff on some other it's not even as busy as if the World Cup was happening in Spain or England or something that everybody's going to go and, oh yeah, I want to see the Manchester game. Let's go to the bar then. And then all the bars are filled up. It's like everybody's like, screw that. I don't want to go out. I don't have any money, or they don't want to go out, or they don't want the crowds. And then there's no crowds there at all.
Okay. All right, bud. Thanks for updating us. We'll get you back on the show in a couple of weeks. Okay, bud?
Cool, man. Keep up the good work, Mike.
God bless you, brother.
You're a star.
Thanks, bud. Bye.
We'll see you next time.
See ya. All right, that is Glenn, Canada's most famous homeless guy here on Mike of the Night, reporting for us on the ground in Vancouver. And the FIFA World Cup is a complete flop. And a complete flop. Let's get another caller on. Oh, looks like we're going to get Supreme Cannon on the show. He's online. And I know I've been talking up Supreme Cannon for a while now, getting him on the show. And I'm pretty excited to get him back on. It's been a while. And let me just take a sip of water here. Okay. So this whole hub insurance thing is really bothering me. So the other day I went into Hub Insurance, to ask him a question about my renewal for my policy for my store. I walked in, I sat down, a guy saw me, slammed his files on the table, came outside saying, I don't have time for you. No one has time for you. We don't this, we don't have that. All I wanted to know if he got my email or what's going on, and I just had a question about my policy before they renewed it. Basically threw me out of the place. I didn't say a word. And then now they're saying that I'm upset and that I this and that, and that I'm upset that I didn't say a damn word while I was there. I was thrown out of the building. The guy bitched me out there, and now they're saying that, oh, well, we've emailed you. Yeah, their emails have been going to my junk folder. We've emailed you now for the second time, and yeah. So I'm not. I don't understand what's going on here. So no one takes accountability. So now they're saying it's me that's the problem, not them. And I'm gonna find out who's the regional manager for Hub Insurance, and or the district manager, and let him know. I'm gonna make a follow-up video on the first video we made. I'm so sick and tired of no one taking accountability. The guy's having a bad day, he bitches me out, that's fine. Instead of saying, well, we're sorry for treating you that way, Mike. No, I'm upset. I was never upset, and I keep telling them, look at their video footage. I got up and I walked right out. I am so tired of this bullshit. This bullshit. I'm tired of this. No one taking accountability for their bullshit. I never said a damn word to the guy. And now I'm upset. Well, damn right I'm upset. I didn't do a damn thing. Just wanted to ask a question on my policy because I wasn't sure, because I'm insuring my stuff. And I'm fucking pissed. The guy comes out and talks to me and bitches me out for no reason. So anyways. So we'll get Supreme Canada on. I'm trying to see if there's anybody else here we can get on tonight. Okay, we'll get Supreme Canada on. I don't got, we don't have anybody lined up for tonight. Yeah, we got to stay hydrated. I've been drinking a lot of water tonight, guys, here on Mike in the Night. So, okay, we're going to get Supreme Canada on here on Mike in the Night, The Turning Point.
Truth coming through like a warning sign. You can feel it shift when the clock strikes 3. Like something's waking inside of me. At 3 a.m. when the static's spoken, old school fire that can't be broken. No script read, no words soft spoken. Just a man saying I have spoken. About left, ain't about right. It's about sleeping good at night, about working hard and keeping faith, and calling out what just ain't straight when the world feels cold and tight. There's a voice in the dark saying it'll be alright. My given night. Hear the tone. Front porch truth over dial tone. 3 a.m. and the veil's wide open. Every word caught and holding. From the back roads to the broken on the quiet.
All right, guys. Supreme Canada is not picking up his phone. We'll see. I think there was somebody else trying to call at the same time. Hold on. Supreme Cannon is not picking up. He's probably got busy last second. We got someone else trying to call in here.
Oh, hello.
Yo, what's up, buddy? Blackjack Romano, right?
Yes, sir.
Good to have you on the show, buddy. What do you got for us?
Yes, I've been sending you videos of what I've been dealing with in the downtown east side.
You have?
That,
Let me check. I get thousands of reels. People keep sending me videos and videos. Not their videos, just other people's videos talking. And I don't get any raw footage from nobody like you. Did you send me? Did you make the video?
Yes, I sent you raw.
Oh, I gotta go through them and check. I gotta check your messenger properly because I'm just getting so many messages from people about Joe Rogan saying something. Russell Brand said something. Alex Jones said something. It's the same thing over and over and over and over and over. Yeah.
So I stopped listening to those big three long time ago. Because they're just playing.
You were realizing that all these big influencers now are just controlled information distribution, is what you're saying.
Oh, yes. Especially Alex Jones in the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he's been replaced with a lookalike.
Okay.
The conspiracy theories are true. People do get replaced by lookalikes.
Yep.
But they want the real people gone for whatever reasons. If you compare the Alex Jones 25 years ago compared to now, it's very different. Or how he communicates.
You know what's funny is if you look at my videos from 10, 15 years ago, I look exactly the same.
Yes, and your message has been consistent.
Yeah.
Exact same wording, sentences, how you present yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Very similar, 99.9 or 100%. Very spot on.
Now, people are starting to realize that a lot of these big influencers they're all paid shills. They're all they're all bought and paid for. All of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I make, what, $800 a year from coffees. Let's see if anyone bought me a coffee today. Gregorio's bought me a coffee today. Thanks for the coffee, buddy. So somebody bought me a coffee today. That's how we survive here on, well, I mean, I can't survive on coffee donations because it's not enough. But still, you know what I mean, right? We make our, $600-700 a year in coffee donations, and that's it, right?
Yes.
But that's all we make in a year. But these guys make millions of dollars an episode, right? So
and that's still not enough for them.
No, it's never enough for them.
So I sent you a raw footage with some of the incidents that I had to deal with the junkies.
Really? Let me see. Let me go into my messages. Hold on. Let me go into general because I have you here on their mic in the night.
Yes.
Some
of them are some of them are shared reels.
Mm-hmm.
But I sent you raw footage, very different ones on different times I dealt with.
Okay, I don't see anything here, brother.
I should be up there.
No, I'm going through your thing. I'm going way back. I'm going back now till last year, December. I'm not getting a damn video.
Okay, last Friday.
Yeah.
I sent you 6 photos and 3 videos. So 429 is when I sent it. Then there was some shared reels I sent.
I don't have it, brother. I swear to you, I'm looking at the messaging. I don't see a damn thing.
Let's see. Okay, I'll do a test run.
I got what I got from you. I'll tell you what I got. I'll tell you what I got from you.
Okay.
I got $401 at Costco, and he showed me a receipt, a bunch of reels, and that's it.
I sent you a sample of a reel what I had to deal with just right now. Just let me know if you received it.
Oh, I'll wait patiently to see if it comes through, because I'm not getting anything through. I'm gonna message you right now. Hi. You'll see the hi right now.
Yes, I got that.
You got that, right? Okay, so I'm waiting for your reel.
Well, I don't know why that reel hasn't gone through right now. I know that reel works on my side, so I don't know if
Nothing.
you received
Blank.
it.
It said you were going to send something, and it cut it off. It's cut off.
Oh,
It cut off. It's done. It's gone. There's not even an attempt. Nothing. It's cut off.
okay. I don't know if I should. Sorry. Okay. I'll send it. I'll send it later.
Yeah, it got cut off. It looked like you were sending something, and then it cut off, and it's black. There's no attempt. There's no nothing.
Oh yeah. I don't know what to say about that, but yeah, those a lot of the people I deal with in the downtown east side, near your old shop, International Village or Tinseltown, formerly called.
Okay. Okay. Now I know you are in the downtown Vancouver area. Is it dead for the World Cup?
Oh, very dead. The occasional tourist, probably I can count on one hand how many fingers is dead. They just show up for the game, watch the game, and they head back to their whatever rental that they're at.
Because we got Glenn earlier on the show, Canada's famous homeless man, and he told me that it's dead. There's nobody there. There's more people at a regular ice hockey game than there is at the World Cup.
Yes, correct. They're saying in theory probably the more advanced rounds, people probably show up for it, but I doubt that. A lot of the businesses, they expected increased business, and then I started laughing and giggling. I said, "There's no way." 99% of the tourists from out of the country call Canada a third world country, a third world place.
Yeah, tourists are calling Canada a third world. There are people from Romania, Germany, France, all different types of places. Even people from Africa visiting are saying that too.
Yeah, if Canada's worse off than a supposed third world country from any part of the world, that says a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You see people doing drugs. I see that on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
Begging, panhandling, theft, no attractions whatsoever, no special interest in the business or any business that is selling items that interest the customer or consumer that brings them in.
Mm-hmm.
This is like generic items. So there's like nothing there. For the fan experience, it's just like a TV screen, which you can watch at home. There's like nothing special. All the fan experiences near the Science World or any other spots that they set up for the fan experience. It's like just a TV. It's like you can watch the TV at home. It's like, what's so special about watching on the big screen?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. There's like no free giveaways, nothing.
Yeah, it's total flop. I don't know. In Mexico City, we were putting up footage in Mexico City where FIFA forced all the shops to close around the stadium so they couldn't make money. And there was no beer on the streets, no beer vendors, no nothing. It was just shut down. And it's really, really sad to see that.
Yeah, that says a lot because they want
to make the
direct,
money.
Yes, who are directly connected to FIFA. The ones who aren't, they want to shut them out.
Yeah, no, totally understand. Totally understand. Anything else you want to add?
No, I'll try to send the reel somehow. I don't know why it's not going through.
It's not going through. I wouldn't lie to you. It doesn't even show you attempted to send it.
Okay. Okay, let me figure that out. I'll call in later on.
Yeah, no worries. No worries.
Okay,
we'll talk soon, okay, brother?
Okay, thanks.
God bless you, eh?
Okay, thank you, sir.
Bye-bye. Okay, that was Blackjack Romano here on Mike in the Night. Yeah. Okay, let's see what else we got here. All right, let's see what else we have here. Let's see what else we have here. Let's try and get Supreme Cannon back on the show here too. All right, let's get Supreme Cannon back on the show. let's get Supremo back on the show here. See if he picks up the phone.
It's 3 a.m. The city's breathing low. Streetlights flicker on an empty road. Neon whispers secrets through the rain. Truth don't sleep, it calls your name. Clock keeps ticking like a warning.
Hello, Supreme? Hello?
Hello.
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
I'm good. Let me
We can barely hear you.
Yeah, let me mute this thing. Give me a second here.
Yeah.
There, how's that?
I still can't hear you.
Okay, I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, because guys, let me know if you can hear Supreme, because I could barely hear him here on my end. Let me know in the chat if you could hear him clearly. Okay, Supreme, what's up, buddy?
Oh, all kinds of everything. You guys got a busy night going on here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We always have a busy night. Monday nights on Mike in the Night. We are doing our best here to find out what's going on, right?
Well, sure, absolutely. Well, how was Father's Day?
Father's Day was good. Father's Day was really good. I'm pretty choked with this whole, Father's Day was great. My kids gave me gifts. They made stuff. I love when the kids make stuff at school because it's from the heart. And it really feels good too. And it was my son's birthday too on Saturday. So we had a massive birthday party for him here at the house. He invited half the school came.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
So it was a
Yeah,
fun
it was really good,
barbecue.
yeah.
I was barbecuing. We ordered pizza. My mom made a bunch of Portuguese food. It was really good. It was really good.
Nice.
And
Very nice.
yeah, we had the Catholic priest here to bless the food. It was good.
Oh, good fun. Good fun, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my daughter and son-in-law came up from Abbotsford and took me to the Kamloops Wildlife Park and bought lunch. And yeah, it was a beautiful day. Really nice. It was a nice lift from all the other news, isn't it? Things
Nice,
like that.
nice. I wanted to... accountability's broken, bro. So I'm going to tell you this story, and I need you to either talk me down on this, because it's really bothering me, Supreme. I walk into Hub Insurance because there's a miscommunication. Their emails are going into my junk mail. I don't know what's going on with my policy. I went there 3 times to try and fix it. No one could help me. The 3rd time I went there, I had a guy slam his files on the desk, come out and tell me they don't have time for me to get out, and that no one has time for me to get out. And they're emailing me now saying that we know you're mad and upset that we couldn't fit you in. I'm like, I just had a question for the guy to see if he got my email, if it was going into a spam or junk mail. That's all I wanted, because I'm insuring my stuff.
Right.
The guy bitched. Supreme, I got 2 words in and I just walked out. The guy was bitching me out for 3.5 minutes straight in front of his colleagues.
Well, I wondered if he'd mistaken you for somebody else.
Nope, he knows who I am. He goes to my church. I know the guy. I know who he is. I've never been spoken to like that in my entire life, ever in my whole life.
That's
life.
bizarre. That's bizarre.
And now the email, they're wording it like it's my fault.
Very strange.
Accountability is broken, buddy. Instead of saying, hey, Mike, I'm sorry I was talking to you like you were garbage when you walked in. I can't believe it. I can't believe it that it's my fault.
Yeah. Well, if you see him at church next Sunday, give him a piece of your mind.
I don't understand. I
don't get it either, other than I think it might be something to do with the insurance industry in general. Just a little anecdote. My daughter works for a fairly sizable insurance company branch in Abbotsford. And the last 3 or 4 months or so, her and her coworkers, they've been doing renewals, because people, their homes, their cars, whatever, they're doing annual renewals. Well, it turns out that they had someone who's no longer working there, who had been writing these house policies that were just completely wonky. The valuations were wrong. The coverage was wrong. Everything was wrong. And so they had a lot of follow-up to do. Just it got them bogged down really badly. And needless to say, there were a lot of customers when they found out what their actual rates were going to be the following year. They also got a lot of verbal abuse. I'm inclined to think that if this is something that's been going on in the industry itself, because if you look at, look at housing prices. Look how fast they went up for how long?
For the last since 2010.
Absolutely.
Vancouver model. Bring in your money, China. Park it into our real estate.
Totally. It's one of those things where, while things are going really good, all kinds of sloppy work can go through and nobody questions anything because it just year after year after year, it just doesn't matter, right? Everybody's making money and they're not paying attention. There's no basic quality control going on. I wouldn't be shocked if they're running into something at Hub as well, where they've got people that have been through there and, there's a fair amount of turnover in some of these offices that they're
no, this guy's been there for years.
Swamped.
He's been there for years. He knows me. He knows who I am.
He's been there, but there's other.
But I've never been spoken to ever in any capacity like that in my entire life, dude.
Yeah,
I've never even had an ex-girlfriend talk to me like that ever.
I've been subjected to outbursts like that from time to time, and I had no idea what the hell people were on when they did it. They were angry at me for one thing or another, but in the end, it's not about you. It's about him. It's about whatever the hell's going on in his head. Because you don't tend to stay in a public facing business with an attitude like that. So yeah, I don't off the top of my head, I don't have any answers for that. Other than next time you see him, ask what the hell his problem is.
I have no idea what that guy's problem is. I've never been spoken to like that in my entire life. I have never in my entire life been spoken to like that. We don't have time for you. Nobody here has time for you. I don't have time for you. You have to leave. You can't be here. It's like, all I wanted to know was if he got my email, if it went to his junk or what happened. I don't know what's going on.
Right.
It's my stuff I'm insuring.
And you're a customer.
Yeah.
You're a client. It's one of those things where you could say, look, I'm sorry, we just don't have time to deal with this today.
Yeah, but he didn't have to. But he didn't say that.
But to make it personal, like
yeah, he made it personal.
You're harassing them, like you're some kind of troublemaker. Yes, very strange. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. Well, hold him accountable. So, if you don't get satisfaction, he has a superior. Call them.
Yeah, I'll find out who they are, and I'm going to report them. It's like that's bullshit. Now they're emailing me saying it's my fault.
Yeah. Yeah, you when you get down to it.
I didn't even get 2 words, and that's why I even made a video complaining about this. And I only said, check your footage, check your video footage, and see how many words I got in. Check your video footage.
Yeah.
Check your video footage first.
I would contact head office about that. If you don't get any satisfaction on it, I would definitely do that. Say, hey, I don't appreciate being talked to you like that. Because that's very strange that they did something like that. Christian Worthington, insurance companies only care about the big contracts. They're seeing a business housing collapse coming that they don't want to insure. I can't disagree with that. Yeah. I think that, a lot of things are going to start going backwards. That car spun out in the icy hill is going to start sliding backwards down the hill. And, chaos will ensue. And, yes, frontline workers are definitely getting the brunt of it because they got a lot of angry people coming in. Demanding to know in this particular case, I don't think it was necessarily being underinsured. It was just more along the line of there was somebody that was very indifferent, saw the job as just something to do for paycheck and did very sloppy work, and a lot of it, and other people have had to go through and spend the hours to clean it up. And it's very stressful. So yeah, accountability is, people don't care, and part of the reason they don't care is because they know the companies they work for don't care either.
Mm-hmm.
At least in times past, in the days of the dinosaurs, corporations, they tried to make you feel like you were family, like they valued that you were there, like you were important, like it was a good thing that you were there.
Yeah,
right. And now they occasionally they do things like that. They compensated for with paying overtime and that with team building exercises and free pizza and casual Fridays and things like that. But when they can just literally terminate you, just, hand you a cardboard box and security watch you clean out your desk without any notice. Yeah, no, people are not, you know, like the lack of loyalty is starting to show up in quality.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, man. You should slogan that.
Well, we quoted it right here on Mike of the Night. No, no royalties expected. It's rough, man. It's rough everywhere. You know, there's a lot of people on this stream right now who are, one way or another, they're going through it.
Supreme, can you talk straight for a few minutes? It sounds like the kids are jumping upstairs, and I feel like the ceiling's going to collapse under my head here. I'm just going to go upstairs real quick. Go ahead and just
go save your house. I'll fill the dead air.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Hello, posse. It's nice to be interacting with you again. It's been a few weeks. Been out house sitting for my dad and doing other things, so I haven't actually been around. Hey, Big Rob. So I heard the caller before the last one talking about FIFA. I don't follow soccer, football, whatever you want to call it. I did see a lot of ads on the TV out at Dad's place about it, trying to promote, trying to make it happen. People that I have no idea who they are. I have, could care less one way or the other. Trying to make it a big thing, which is the job of promotions. It's the job of ad agencies to make things big and build excitement. But if it didn't work, it didn't work. That's all. They've got to, people don't have the money for these events either anymore. Like we need to see ticket prices for all kinds of things start to get in line with economic reality. It's just not, they're not lining up anymore. Those supply and demand curves don't just apply to housing, right? They also apply to things like food and insurance and amusement, entertainment, recreation. We're getting to a point where, a lot of people are going to be tightening their belts, and it's going to become a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're just going to see more and more storefronts boarded up because people aren't buying because they can't buy. They just simply can't continue it anymore. The difference between the have-nots and the have-yachts is getting wider by the month, it feels like. I hear Mike. Hopefully there's nothing too untoward going on there. $25,000 per ticket for the next round. Oh my God. That's not even bread and circus, is it? That's like caviar and Cirque du Soleil. $25,000 a ticket. Yeah. What is worth that? I guess the market determines what the value of something is. If you put a price on something and people pay it, it becomes almost like a giffen good. The idea of something, the price of something is determined by how much people want it, which seems natural. But some things just automatically take on the cachet of being valuable because they're high priced.
Right. I'm back.
There you are.
Yeah, no, I just the kids are just jumping around. They're having fun, but
yeah. Well, they're young and healthy and energetic. Praise the Lord.
Yep. And I was listening to that tail end of the conversation there. Yeah, it's really, 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 really bizarro world we're in. I'm reading some of the comments here. It's Supreme is the master of metaphors, 100 billion%. And Supreme Cannon is genuinely 100% one of the founding fathers of Mike of the Night too. And because before Mike of the Night, it was called Rants and Lifestyle, right? And I think we went 103 episodes of Rants and Lifestyle, and then we switched over to Mike of the Night because we just switched over the name of the show. Mm-hmm. So we don't have 656 episodes of Mike of the Night. We have like 530 something episodes because it's tied into Rants and Lifestyle. And we have lots of Rants and Lifestyle up on YouTube still. They're up there still.
Yeah, it's remarkable they haven't taken all those down too, isn't it?
Oh, they take down shit all the time. You know that, Supreme.
Yeah. Hey, I see you're Mr. 134 now.
Oh, yeah, they've unlocked my channel. My channel on YouTube for the first time for the 8 months ago. 8 months. Remember we're talking about this 8 months ago, the day it happened?
Sure.
So 8 months ago now, they've unlocked the channel. And they've just unlocked it normally, so people know I exist. And I think we've grown like 70,000 subscribers in that 60,000 maybe in the last 8 months alone. By simply opening my channel.
Yeah, they haven't monetized you, but at least they're letting you grow now.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
the important thing is to get the word out anyway.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. I don't get paid to be here, but I am monetized. But it's like $70 or $60 a month, $50.
Yeah.
So I am monetized. They have me monetized.
It's not. I mean, it's basically nothing, but it's not nothing. Right. I mean, you even got a check from Mark Zuckerberg now. So, from Facebook, or Instagram. So that's incredible.
Now, the fact that
that's a world shattering event for those guys. In the last 7 years, 1 out of 10 of my friends became mega rich. Another 1 of 10 are millionaires. The other 8 of 10 are clawing to hang on. Yes, I believe that completely. Yeah, that's reality. That's across the board. I have some very successful relatives, some people that, they got more money than, the GDP of El Salvador, but lots of the family, lots of other people are, they're scratching and clawing to hang on, especially anybody under 40, like millennials are they're paying basically 2030 prices and they're making 2010 money. And it just can't be done. And you can't explain it to the elders. They just don't understand how rapid the collapse was. We give boomers a bad time here, but I mean, they were raised in a different time. They lived in a different time, and they just simply, goldfish don't know they're wet, right? Like they just literally live their lives in a different environment than anybody under 40 or 45 years of age. And they just don't see it. They don't understand why it's a problem.
Yeah.
Why people are just giving up. Well, go get another job or, cut out the avocado toast and stuff like that, right? But the thing is, the reason a lot of people just travel, and get high and have fancy coffee and avocado toast is because they know that the way things are, they will never own a house if things stay the way they are.
Well, again,
what do you do when you give up? I mean, you still got to work and live and pay your bills, and you want to live well. But if you're going to be a renter and you're never going to be able to accumulate any kind of capital, why wouldn't you just give up and just go and enjoy your life, get some experiences?
Yeah.
Yeah, the boomers don't get it until it hits them. Yeah, that's the thing. There's this sense of, we always get the sense from them of après moi le déluge. Like, okay, yeah, everything could fall apart after I'm dead. Well, I don't think they're going to be that lucky. I think this is going to come down while they're still around.
Oh, yeah, it's going to come down real hard. Again, you can't tie...
I mean, it's happening now.
Yeah, but you can't tie an economy to Chinese money laundering. I'm getting emails.
You can for a while.
It's been happening since 2010.
Sure,
we were supposed to see a correction in 2010 because the average house in Vancouver or condo was already 21, 22 times the annual income. People couldn't get it in 2010. We were seeing a correction. And I remember I still remember everyone saying, oh, when the Olympics hits, everyone's going to sell their properties and the market's going to crash. The market's going to crash. Nope. They turned it around and bring your dirty money into Canada. And the trillions of dollars and the billions per province. I was so shocked when I saw the graph that Newfoundland and Prince Edward Island and Manitoba, the billions laundered through those provinces. I couldn't believe it. And that was in 2018 I saw that graph.
Absolutely.
I couldn't believe it.
You just know our ruling classes were in on it up to their elbows. Otherwise, someone would have stopped it. But if they figured out how to get a cut of it, well, or Chinese spies have got compromat on them, and they have to go along just like American politicians have to go along.
Yeah.
I mean, ending the wars and controlling illegal immigration and mass deportations and all of those things. Those are 60-40, 70-30, in some cases 80-20 issues across the political spectrum. The voting public wants these things and they want them done yesterday. And yet they start out fast out the gate, and then about 2-3 months, they grind to a halt, and then we're into another war or something. And it's kind of like, you would think that if people would just do the things that the populace wants them to do, they'd be in power forever. They just cruise to re-election every 2 years.
Yeah.
But somehow they always wind up doing the opposite, or just pretending that they never said it, or trying to drop the subject. Which suggests to me that, there's a certain amount of corruption. But I mean, as long as you're in Senate or Congress, you could do all the insider trading you want, make all the money you want. As long as everyone else is happy, they don't ask questions. right? But when people aren't happy, when people are sliding, when they're slowly drowning the way they are now, this stuff becomes more noticeable, and yet they continue to do all these things or refuse to do the things that people want them to do.
So we got a
I'm
gentleman
inclined
in
to
the
think
house.
with the Chinese concerned, there's financial benefits, but there's also a lot of compromise on these people.
Well, there's one of our viewers from the Philippines is commenting, Philippines, the land of $7,000 houses. I own one of those $7,000 houses, right? And it's kind of funny how the average Filipino that born, raised, and lives and dies in the Philippines makes about 60,000 American in their lifetime, and they afford 1, 2, maybe homes, a beach house, maybe a home. They own it. They own a home. They own a beach house or a secondary property. And they own 3, 4 scooters in their life, maybe 1 car, and put their kids to school and go to Fiesta on the weekends and die at 80, making $68,000 American their entire life. And they eat well.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing, when you hear about countries, the currency's collapsing and inflation is going up. Well, it's collapsing against the US dollar.
Yeah.
But most of these countries, I mean, I'm not sure about Turkey. That's the latest one. They said it's collapsing. But, in places like Russia and China, well, they kind of have 2 currencies, right?
Mm-hmm.
They sell their commodities to the world, or they sell their manufactured goods to the world in US dollars.
Mm-hmm.
But the workers are paid, the raw materials are extracted, in the local currencies.
Mm-hmm.
So they're able to live fairly well, even though on paper, their currency's worth, 200 of them for a US dollar.
Wow.
They don't live that badly,
No, they can still
That's
get
why
by.
that's why I'm always skeptical. Like, we kind of have the Amero system here now, because the Americans print their worthless green toilet paper money, and they get stuff from the South in pesos and from the North in snow pesos, right?
So America's biggest export is inflation, right? So
yeah, sadly. Yeah. But I think that's why, well, I mean, look at the price of gold, right? Like, especially since Russia had its assets seized in 2022. Like, a lot of people started backing away from the US, like they just opened the fridge in Jeff Dahmer's apartment, like, it's this is not good. They've lost the plot here. They've lost their mind. They've done the no. If you want to maintain an impartial international banking system, sometimes you got to let people you don't like actually use it. And when you flat out seize or steal their money like that, especially in nuclear power, they're sending messages that they shouldn't have sent. And now it's going, I mean, up till 2010, central banks were net sellers of gold. Ever since then, they've been net buyers, and since 2022, they've been buying it with both hands. And it seems to me that regardless, if the U.S. is able to stabilize the situation with the dollar, I think that's going to happen regardless now, because people want other forms of collateral. And they need, the safest place to store your money for years was in U.S. Treasuries. And that's just not safe for some anymore. So that's the thing. The system that we've all lived under since, World War II, but certainly since 1971 is, creaking and groaning. It's still huge. It's still powerful. It's still relevant. I don't think it's going away overnight. I don't think it's going to be collapsed like a house imploding on itself, but it's definitely going to be a slow drift towards other things. And it's going to create, headwinds, and it's probably going to force interest rates, as I see it anyway. It's going to force them higher, regardless of what America does now.
Well, they have to.
I think they had their last chance when, Elon Musk and the Doge people exposed all that fraud, and that guy in Minnesota exposing all those daycares. Like, people realize that probably a very large percentage of the federal deficit in the United States is outright fraud. It's just theft. And it's skyrocketing. It's getting higher. It's going exponential. Right. So just like real estate, we're seeing what's happened to it now. That's kind of topped out and is going the other way. We're going to see the same thing with this whole system as it exists right now. It's starting to get bogged down. D-man, the economy is crap. Yes, sir. I have no way of arguing with that. Yeah, I mean, they show the GDP, right? They show that, or the S&P or the Dow Jones and how it's going from lower left to upper right forever. But the average person is drowning. And I do think there's a possibility that with so much wealth concentrated in the hands of 10% of the population, and they happen to be the ones that own most of these securities, I think it's the same thing. They don't really seem to understand how everyone else is living, and that didn't work out real well for the French royal family. So I don't know how they think it's going to work out well for them. Yeah, dollar heading to 60 cents in Canada.
60 cent Canada, that's my prediction. I predicted it 2 years ago, and I made a video 3 days ago. 60 cent dollar ahead. The great Canadian peso.
Okay, the last time it was at 62 cents that I can recall was in 1999, 2000. And what happened in 1999, 2000?
Well, everything started to go south.
Yes, sir, it did.
And then they had to raise rates to hedge against it, right?
We've got something similar there, yeah. China's in a population collapse as well. It could be a problem for them, but I mean, they have really emphasized robotics. And we need to remember that, yes, they have an aging population, but their economic expansion has been so recent and so rapid that anybody 65 and over has really only experienced a faint whiff of what we would call middle class in this part of the world for the last 20 years of their life. Retirement for them isn't going to be a big boomer house on the lake and an RV the size of a Greyhound bus and 5 cruises a year. It's going to be a nice apartment, walk up in a second tier city, 3 squares a day, little walking around money, and you can get on the bullet train to go to Hainan Island and bounce your grandkids on your knee. It's not going to be what our seniors have been doing. That was a one and done. The post-World War II world, where for the first 25 years up till 1970, most of the world was bombed flat. And couldn't compete with America, Canada, that's all over. And then from there, of course, we uprooted our means of production and sent it all to China, where, cheap labor could build everything for us. And then to keep wages down here, we imported people from other parts of the world to come here and keep wages down. So we didn't even get the benefit of, we didn't get any benefits of any of this here. Unless you already were an asset owner. If you were, you worked steady and maybe you invested in real estate or the stock market or something in 1980, and you managed not to get divorced or have any kind of serious illnesses, and you're not doing well, either you got a coke habit or, or you're a chronic gambler. Otherwise, you should have millions, on paper at least. Just simple compound interest does the work for you after a while. It's rough, if you're not in that group, it's rough. And those people, they don't understand. I don't even know if it is that they don't care, although I definitely do sense the indifference of the elderly. Like I say, there's a certain, after me the deluge kind of attitude. Because I think when you grow up right at the beginning of the Cold War and you go to elementary school and periodically in random times you have to dive under your desk in case of a nuclear attack and things like that, I think it messes with your mind. I don't understand people who have accumulated so much wealth, so many experiences, so much carnal knowledge, and are still so shockingly naive and clueless. That's remarkable in this day and age. And most of the developed world, the number of 80-year-olds exceeds the number of 20-year-olds. It's very top heavy. And it's, the whole thing is a Jenga tower. It is what it is. We don't know what the block is that's going to get pulled out. That's going to bring it toppling. But good God. That tower's got hammers taken to it right now. We got wars. We got this, Strait of Hormuz thing. We've got popping bubbles, or at least slowly leaking bubbles, all over North America and the Western world. Demography is another, everybody running to one side of the boat. Well, she's going to tip over. I'll be your pool boy, but not your geisha boy. That's fair, Dano. That's fair. Yeah, the ruble is one of the strongest currencies. Go figure. Their national debt is a few billion, not trillions. Yeah, yeah. Well, they had no margin for error. They had to play their cards close to their chest after Putin came in, because that definitely sparked hostility among the financial elite in the Western world for sure, because they were doing to Russia what they were able to continue doing to Ukraine for the next 25 years. And they really didn't like that party being stopped. So they had no margin for error. They had to play their cards close to the chest. Their interest rates are north of 12%, I think, still.
Yeah.
Government has to kind of direct where the capital will become available to expand businesses and things like that. But the rise of China has definitely helped Russia as well. So, yeah, and I'm sure they own multiples of the amount of gold they officially say they own. Just like China.
So we got Dano in the comments saying Messi is kicking ass in this year's World Cup. Oh, sure he is. He's tripping players, kicking players, and his true colors are showing. And it's showing how the World Cup is a staged event. And we've been saying it, Supreme. You've heard me say the World Cup is a staged event for over 10. You've been hearing me say this every time there's a soccer tournament on. It's a completely fabricated staged event. It's all inside betting, and the CIA went in there in 2000, I think it was in 2007, 8, or 9, and went in there and actually, I think, no, 2006, after the Italy won the World Cup, a bunch of Italian players were suspended for internal match fixing. And there was an incredible big controversy of match fixing. And the same thing with the 82 World Cup when Italy won again, inside match fixing, and a ton of players were suspended. I'm not picking on the Italians. The Germans fixed matches to win the world. Spain fixed matches. They were all over the floor and wailing. It was all staged. And now FIFA is mandatorily shutting down bars and businesses around the stadiums so people go in there and spend money instead of spending it outside in the bar on the streets. And we played the video earlier about that woman in Mexico City where everything was just closed in Mexico City and you couldn't go out and get a beer outside because it was closed because FIFA demanded it to be closed. You can't make this shit up. This organization is ruthless, and it's about who they want. Now, I want to give you my prediction on this one, Supreme, so you can remember I said it.
Okay.
There's going to be a World Federal Soccer Organization. I don't know what the name's going to be. They're going to branch off of FIFA because they can't afford the yearly subscription to be part of FIFA because it's not worth it. They're going to branch off, and they're going to create a new World Soccer, and more countries will start joining this as a world event as opposed to FIFA. Because it's so corrupt to the core. It's all match fixing. It's all rigged. And now people are starting to wake up to it now in 2026.
Yeah, I think they are, and I think you're right. I think you're going to have a multipolar world in more than one way. Like the whole world outside of, it seems, America and Canada. Soccer, football is a national sport, and so that's the entire global South plus China plus Russia, Europe. I could see, they have Eurasian games. They have friendship games. I could see something based in, I don't know, Dubai's kind of fallen out of favor since this war. I think they've going to have
No, you'll see something based out of South America or somewhere else, and everyone will just join it, and the fees will be dirt cheap. And everyone will join, countries will join, and they'll have organizations. They have the stadiums. FIFA doesn't own the stadiums. Remember that, Supreme?
Yeah.
The countries own their stadiums. They don't need FIFA for nothing.
Taxpayers pay for the stadiums.
Yeah, taxpayers pay for the stadiums, right?
Just like in the States, they use taxpayer dollars to build like football stadiums and stuff like that. It's real sweet. Yeah. Well, it's like any other kind of bubble, right? Like it's beyond the bounds of rationality. And these things obviously can continue a lot longer than anyone would think they could.
Oh, it's been going on for so many years, Supreme.
But if you've got talent, and you've got a lot of foreign billionaires that would like to build rival networks for everything. I mean, they've done it in. In football, like in North America. They had what was it, American Football League or something like that. They had teams, including Canadian teams. They were trying to bring the Canadian game into the US, right?
Right.
So, someone with deep pockets, that's usually what causes the change. Deep pockets causes the change.
Yeah.
And you got a lot of billionaires all over the world now. They're not just in London and New York and Monaco. They're in Shanghai. They're in Moscow. They're in Bombay or Mumbai. They're in Indonesia. A lot of places are growing, and they would like to have some of that prestige for themselves. The center of gravity of the world, where its population and most of its economic growth is happening, is it's 1040, longitude 10 to longitude 40, like from Pakistan to Shanghai. Right, that's a huge market, and a market that is slowly, painfully clawing themselves up into a better tax bracket.
Yeah.
So they may not be able to pay World Cup prices.
The tickets are too expensive, empty seats everywhere.
They're too expensive. Yeah, but they'd probably be able to pay a lot in their own currency for something like that in those countries. So I could see the center of gravity moving away from that too. Yeah.
It's really bad, and a lot of people are getting pissed off because the star player Messi, the bringer of the world, the last World Cup was completely fixed. We told you guys that the last World Cup where Messi held up that trophy, the referee one-sided reffing was helping. It wasn't supreme. It's not all the players working in on it and let's lose this match on purpose. It's the one-sided reffing. Soccer is such an easy game to manipulate. All you have to do is control the whistle, call the penalty when it's not a penalty.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
It's very easy to manipulate soccer, right?
And the thing about it is it could still be an exciting game if it wasn't fixed, because the reason that pro sports can be fixed like this is because these players are that good.
So
they are elite of the elite. I mean, they absolutely we want the ball to go there instead of there. We want you to kick the ball 20 feet over from where you otherwise would have kicked it, and they can do that on command.
Mm-hmm.
That's how good they are. That's how talented these people are. So it's, and I have a feeling that even when you have a game fixing controversy, someone makes some money out of it.
Oh, they make tons of money. 2006
Sure.
World Cup, 2006 World Cup, the inside match betting was horrendous. And what gave it away in that 2006 World Cup was that everybody, like the linesmen or referees or whatever, those people, those family members of those people all betted on the team that was going to win, and it was kind of given away. They gave it away and the thing. So everyone's sending me clips right now, Supreme, as I'm talking to you, of Messi falling and trying to draw penalties and all kinds of stuff. And there's a lot of messaging coming in from people. It's surprising we have 50 people watching the show, and I'm getting more messages live real time than there is people watching the show.
Yeah, well, I don't know, they're watching, or maybe they're watching through a VPN or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because we got very little tonight. We don't have much of a viewership tonight, which is fine. But I'm getting more messages on the back end. Than I have viewers. Right now, since I started this show, Supreme, I'll tell you right now for today. It's right here. 103 emails I've gotten since I started the show.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're showing on my screen, I'm seeing 127 watching right now.
I don't think 100 people of 127 emailed me.
I doubt it too.
No.
Yeah, I suspect that people are using VPNs and it's not showing up, or you're being throttled.
Yeah.
They've always got something. Tignem, everything is fixed through blackmailing. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Tignem is right.
Yeah. Sports, commerce, traffic tickets, justice, real estate, everything is fixed. So it comes down to the reason they do that is because for the longest time they were, metaphorically speaking, the only game in town, whatever the game was, right? So if people see an opportunity to set up something that is actually honest, that the rules are strictly enforced.
Brian is saying, hi, Mike, thanks for the live show. That's coming off Facebook. Thank you, Brian, for being here. Mitch Madden is on Facebook, too. Lord Humongous, Robert Keegan is on Facebook, too. I'm just trying to see who our Facebookers are here. Thanks, guys, for being here tonight.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to be among you all again. It's an honor. Christian Worthington, we are in a great Ponzi scheme. The paper derivatives market backed by nothing is valued in the trillions. It will be the power to take. Correct. Yes, I completely agree. Now, it is so huge, and so many people's interests, even little people, many people's interests lie in keeping it going, in not having it, having it last just a little bit longer. So I don't know what the event will be, the Deus Ex Machina that
you're talking about.
Brings that Jenga tower down.
Okay, Supreme, come on. We got
inevitable.
We got a patent on the show on this one. We got a patent on this one. And I've been saying it. I'm going to say it, and you're going to repeat it and say, "Damn, yeah, right, this is it." It's when the Borealis comes in view. When that Borealis comes in view, everyone gets to see it, and that's when everything starts to come. That's my little thing. When the Borealis comes in view, when is it going to happen? When does everything come in view? When does everyone's foresight acknowledge and understand and realize that they've been screwed?
Yeah, well, every bubble and every crash seem to happen on the margins, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what is collapsing on the margins right now?
Well, remember,
other than people's lives,
housing,
right? Their livelihoods,
housing,
and everything else. Housing, absolutely.
Now, if you remember Black Thursday or Black Friday or whatever, with the first stock market crash, remember that, Supreme?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
A lot of people forgot that the underlying reasoning for that market crash was actually the housing. Housing was severely overvalued. If you look into the Great Depression and the market crash of Black Friday or whatever it was called, look it up, and you'll see that housing played a major factor in the collapsing of the stock market.
Oh yeah, everything attached to it too, right? Plus you had a major tractor bubble, ironically enough.
Mm-hmm.
Right immediately after the Great War. Of course, the U.S. had been exporting so much food to these devastated parts of Europe and the rest of the world that the demand had seemed like it was endless, and that's partly what led to the Dust Bowl, was the amount of acreage in the Great Plains that was put under cultivation, because the expectation was that it would just continue forever.
Mm-hmm.
But it eventually reached a point where they had, the droughts that caused the Dust Bowl and destroyed all that, and eventually, it did correct.
Mm-hmm.
The overproduction plays a part in it as well.
Dude, houses went up to $13,000, $18,000, $20,000, dude, in that time. Like, super overvalued shacks. It's like, what the hell? And then finally, you saw the correction. Housing went back to $8,000, $7,300. Cars went back to $1,600 for a car, $800 for a car. Everything went back to... And then you started seeing the suburbs start to open up after that, right? The suburbs,
that's right.
Suburbia.
People wanted more
out of the city,
affordable housing. The suburbs. Especially after World War II. The suburbs became a big thing. You could make the big city money, and you could still live in a nice place of your own.
Yeah.
Right, because now you had automobiles and the interstates. Were opening up, and there was obviously a lot of development immediately afterwards, trying to get things going again and shifting over from a war economy back to a consumption economy. So it was a pretty frenetic time all around, right? And the same thing's going to happen here too. This this isn't going to continue. For 10 or 15 years now, I've just seen these projections of what the population will be, what the price of homes, or what the price of everything will be, what life will be like living under a panopticon and all these other things. And they're all wrong. It's not going to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
It just isn't. Because they're going on the assumption that what we have right now can continue for another 50 or 100 years. Well, it obviously can't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it couldn't even continue after the year 2000 or the year 2008.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Or after the big bug. Right? They ground everything to a halt, and now they've been trying to get it going again, and it's just...
Well, that grinding is a stagflation kicking in real hard.
Absolutely, yeah. I think they expected, okay, all right, we've got the situation where we've increased our power and authority, and we've got control of the economy, right? It will reopen at our pace, but they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing, and in the meantime, they had printed all this money for people to stay home. And so much of that was soaked up in fraud too during that time.
So I got somebody here messaging me. They're in Houston, Houston. Sorry. And they're telling me, "Hey Mike, I can't find a place to watch the game. Most of the places or the venues I know of by the stadium where the games are being played are closed down." So they're closing them down, or FIFA's closing down these venues so the money will be spent there.
I don't think FIFA has the authority to close down the.
They've been doing it. They've been saying it over and over.
Yeah.
So,
well, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, any major sporting event, be it World Cup, be it the Stanley Cup, be it the Super Bowl or whatever. I mean, they charge millions of dollars a minute for corporations to run ads for those things. So if you can't see those ads sitting at your local sports bar watching the World Cup, how exactly is people going to make any money?
That's the thing. That's what Glenn, Canada's famous homeless man, was on the show earlier. He told me everything's empty. All the venues are empty. There's nothing going on. He says there's less people watching than it would be people watching like a regular season Canucks game. That's how many people are there. Like nothing major. Just a couple of people getting on a bus and leaving, right?
Right. Yeah,
and I believe him because I used to live across the street from the stadium where Canucks played. My window, I could see the lineups outside. And it's nothing major. It's not major. So unless it's a playoffs crazy. Or something.
I think in some instances they black it out in the city where the games are being played.
Mm-hmm.
So, there would be no point if you wanted to watch the game, well, you'd probably go home and watch it on pay-per-view if you couldn't actually afford to go to the stadium. You wouldn't bother watching it at your local, sports bar because they'll be blacked out.
Mm-hmm.
But then there too, they should have pay-per-view. But, if one establishment has pay-per-view and 500 people cram in there to watch the game, well, that's 500 more pay-per-view subscriptions that they miss out on. So I think what's probably happened is they blacked out the game in Vancouver or wherever it's being played at any given time.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were sitting in Prince George or or in Merritt for that matter, it probably doesn't matter that much.
Hey Mike, can you tell Supreme Canon that right now in Canada there are more Canadians aged 65 plus than under 15?
I believe that completely. Yeah. Yeah, it's bad. It's serious. It's a serious problem. But the thing is that it's a problem until it isn't, right? Like these problems self-correct, right? Like housing should come down. The price of all kinds of things should come down. And what that does is it makes things affordable for young people so they can, buy homes and get married and start having families again. Like depopulation is usually a self-correcting problem. I read an article, or it was a podcast last week, talking about why things were the way they were in the 50s and 60s, like right after World War II. Why the middle class seemed to have such a much larger part of the wealth at that time. And basically from 1914, when the Great War began, to 1945, when the Second World War ended, that's 31 years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. And of course, there was 10 years of Great Depression right in the middle of it.
There was the Roaring 20s and then the Great Depression.
The Great Depression, and then, so a stock bubble, farm bubble, whatever bubble, and then a crash, and then the Great Depression. Yeah, global banking collapse, essentially. And then the Second World War. And of course, it began earlier, like in China, between China and Japan and the like.
Japan, invaded Manchuria in 1932.
31, 32.
Yeah,
that's right. The Mukden Bridge incident. But basically, when it was over, somewhere between 1 in 12 or 1 in 10 working age men were dead. They were gone. They didn't exist. And the ones that were coming back from the wars, of course, were a bunch of traumatized, trained killers.
Yep.
So for a period of 20 or 25 years or so after that, public policy was make sure these guys get good jobs, make sure they're paid well.
Mm-hmm.
The women that had been working in the war plants and before that had grown up during the Depression, didn't have much of anything. There was a lot of pent up consumption demand too. So in order to establish households and get things going again, these guys came back from the war basically all over the world. And yeah, they had they were kind of catered to. And you know, I'm being a veteran, especially from the winning side, I think you kind of earned it, frankly. You know, you're 19, 20 years old and you risk your entire future to go fight for your country and you make it back alive. Yeah, I kind of think you should be rewarded for that. But you know, wages and what those wages would buy went up a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and that made the suburbs affordable. That made the new cars and refrigerators and washing machines affordable. You know, women couldn't get nylon stockings or silk stockings because they were being used for parachutes and things like that. Right. So when consumption became possible again, and of course the supply of potential husbands and fathers was in short supply. So that's probably what triggered the baby boom. It's one of those things where, you know, a population mismatch like that corrects itself rather quickly. And, you know, so yeah, we have a problem right now in that there's more 65-year-olds than 15-year-olds, for sure. But it's a self-correcting problem. The problem, as I see it, is they have this Social Security Ponzi that they're trying to keep going, which is why, you know, this mass immigration is basically human quantitative easing. But the thing about post-World War II is the baby boom was a spike in the population that emerged from among the native population. It wasn't based on immigration. It was based on the people themselves getting married, buying homes, and having, you know, 4 or 5 kids apiece per couple, right? And then things obviously evened out, and then they went completely the other way. All of a sudden, you had this huge flood of children. Like they're up north where I lived in northern BC. I mean, there was 3 or 4 former elementary schools that were all boarded up because of all the schools they had to build in the 50s and the 60s and into the early 70s to accommodate all these children. But once that boom was over, I mean, by the mid 1990s, the schools were all pretty much closed, unless they were in an area where the town had grown up around them. So I think it's self-correcting. It is a problem, but no, we're not going to go extinct. I don't think it's about extinction, or even demographic displacement in our own countries is a problem, but it's all being heavily subsidized. And of course, the amount of borrowing that government's doing means it's not our taxes paying for it all, right? They're borrowing gobs of money, printing gobs of money to try to maintain this mismatched, upside down, topsy-turvy system. So that in itself is another Jenga tower. I saw. I didn't get a chance to watch the whole video, but I saw a title of one of your shorts was, you know, Canada had its first population decline in years, like probably since Confederation. And a lot of that is, it's people who, you know, don't see a future here and are leaving the country.
Well, it's because of their kids. Like if I leave Canada, it's not because if I leave Canada, it's not because I'm 48 now. So for me to leave, like I kind of set things up. I'm doing okay. If I'm leaving, it's for my kids. It's not for me anymore. Nothing's for me anymore, Supreme, at my age. It's for my kids now. Right? And to find them a better, greener pasture.
Well, that's my attitude too. I don't have anywhere to go. My ancestors have been wandering around the New World for, 300 years, Mike. I don't have an old country anymore. This is it for me.
No, I understand that. I'm talking about my perspective.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Well,
if I'm leaving Canada, I'm giving you my
because you're also Portuguese and your wife is Filipina. Yeah, you have options. Yeah, and it's prudent. It's prudent to have options. It's just common sense, right? I think we'll pull it out of the fire. I think we'll be okay. That seems like a pretty glib statement to make right now. I'm fully aware how bad things are here. I feel it myself, but these things tend to self-correct. It's happened before. I mean, we had to fight a world war to get out of the Great Depression. Well, we don't have the means to fight a world war, and we have nuclear weapons now. So there probably isn't going to be I think the Third World War has been going on since probably 2014. But such as it is, right? But we also can't afford it. So, that solves a lot of problems too. Raven, long time no chat, man. The wealth of Canadians is in their homes. As we transition to a communist country, they will attack homeowners' equity. Something like 40% of people own their properties mortgage-free. They're not giving up their homes.
Well, I'm not giving up my home
that
because...
will be a problem. And we don't have an army or a police force that could possibly enforce something like that. White Europeans are on the chopping block. We are absolutely a target. No dissent here on that whatsoever. We are absolutely a target. The problem is they're cutting off their own nuts, because we're the ones that built these countries, and we're the only ones who could build these countries. So they want Canada to be more to their liking and more malleable. The problem is, as they de-emphasize the founding stock of these countries, they're going to fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to have separatist movements. I mean, you see one in Alberta, right? And of course, you've always had one at least at lower temperature in Quebec. But you're going to have separation movements among the newcomers as well. But since they're all living here more or less subsidized by us, as those subsidies we simply can't pay them anymore, they're going to leave. They're going to leave. Because what they came for, it won't be there anymore.
Well, my dad
and all those things that made Canada such a wonderful place are vanishing quickly, and that includes the people that actually want to run the place. They communists can't run a lemonade stand.
Mm-hmm. Dude,
they run how my are they business. How are they going to borrow the money when interest rates are going up?
Yeah.
Like you have to get rid of the bond markets first before you can do something like that. And every country in the world depends on the bond markets. So
that's right.
It's just what I'm saying is it's more complicated than that. The homes that had upside down mortgages on them, yeah, they could probably get control of those. But who are they going to put in them? Your entire neighborhood is African, Nigeria. Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah,
I believe it, and it probably has only been that way for less than 10 years. Well, it's not going to stay that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll collapse the housing market. Well, it's going to collapse anyway, isn't it?
Well, Supreme, it's already 30, 40 times the annual income. You got to work 30, 40 years just to put a down payment. Never mind buy a home.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, yeah. And are people going to do that? Of course not. That's why they're buying avocado toast and $8 coffees, right? Because they can't buy a home. So whatsoever. So some races have no civility, especially when they're peeing everywhere. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, that's correct. So what happens? They wind up taking the neighborhoods they move into and turning them into the neighborhoods that they fled. They can't help themselves. It's their culture.
Mm-hmm.
Without being compelled to assimilate. Like I understand in Regina, there's a mosque downtown that just had its first Muezzin call to prayer here the last morning. They're broadcasting on loudspeakers Muslim call to prayer in downtown Regina.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. And these people are still, for the most part, a minority. So they dominate certain neighborhoods, but that's because the forces of law and order look the other way. So what happens to law and order when law and order doesn't do its job?
So we got Davey D'Angelo here messaging, asking, "Hey Supreme, longtime listener of Mike and the Knights. I love your points of views and how you metadate things and make sense of a lot of the craziness in our world. My simple question to you is, can't you just move to the United States?"
Well, you've tried that too, haven't you?
Oh, I tried that. I tried that. Americans think that if you're white, Canadian, Christian, and you actually bring something to the country, they'll let you in. No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, of course not. No, I mean, most of the people they've let into America in the last 25 years don't have any of those characteristics.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is absolutely an attempt at a demographic meltdown.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They want to turn Western countries into undifferentiated mocha masses. They're not even really concerned about the religious differences because these people aren't religious, or let's just say they practice a religion that none of us could possibly relate to. And they subscribe to blank slateism, like one person is the same as the other. That the amount of pigment in their skin or where they come from doesn't affect their everyday behavior. But they're not even trying to assimilate them. You know, I mean, they are in a sense, because I mean, you've got Indian and Pakistani and, you know, other girls, you know, twerking to Cardi B too, but it's still, you know, the ones that were born here, right? But they're, you know, you can't run a civilization on crap like that.
Okay, so
so that's what I mean. As it falls apart, the reasons these people came vanish. They're going to leave. It's like, you know, why do you go to a nightclub? Well, you go out with your friends because you're open to see the pretty girls. But, you know, once the pretty girls leave, why would you stay? You'd go home.
So I got a question for you, Supreme. It's from, I'm reading the emails that people are sending me. I got a question from Mexico City, Mexico, from Alejandro Ramirez. Ask Supreme Cannon is Mexico benefiting from companies moving manufacturing out to China?
That is a good question.
Yep. Well, I got the right guy on to answer it.
They would benefit, I suppose, in the same way that that American companies supposedly benefited from it. You know, but I mean, Mexico, I don't know what the labor costs are in Mexico vis-a-vis every other industry in that part of North America. But I mean, the low wages thing is becoming kind of a myth in China too. It might just be that they have better, they have safer business environment there, right? Like capital is still treated fairly well in China. Yeah, they have corruption and they have intellectual property theft and things like that are problems. But if you're building something that's already fairly well established technology, you know, and you don't have to worry about some cartel guys shaking you down, or the local, you know, Jalisco governor or something deciding for whatever reason he wants a piece of the pie. So I suspect they're fleeing corruption, if nothing else, because I think that there's still industries from this part of North America moving to Mexico. So it's kind of a shuffleboard game, you know. Like China has a lot of industries that they've moved operations to Vietnam to take advantage of better labor situations, you know, or Indonesia or Malaysia.
Good answer. Good answer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing the best I can with that.
Okay, I got another question
going
from
digital ID. Yeah, I would be surprised.
I got another. I'm just gonna go through the emails, okay?
Sure, go ahead.
Ricardo, I got Ricardo Silva, longtime listener, love Mike in the Nights. Asking if I'm gonna bring it back in Portuguese. He said he'll call in Portuguese 100% to help me out. He's located in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and his question is: ask Supreme Cannon if BRICS. Will BRICS become a real challenge to the Western economic power, or is it just a fairy tale?
I see BRICS as more of a lifeboat.
A lifeboat?
A lifeboat.
Okay.
Right, because you see what happened to Russia, right? Like they tried to collapse the country economically. I mean, they obviously talked up the Azov, the Ukrainian Nazis running the place. They obviously talked it up that, yeah, when you, you know, as soon as Russia moves in, we're going to collapse their economy, their currency. We're going to sanction the crap out of them. We're going to bring them down. We'll get rid of Putin, and you're going to get, not only are you going to get Crimea back, but you're going to get all of southwestern Russia too. We're basically going to push you all the way to, you know, Rostov and, you know, the Caspian Sea.
Right.
You're going to have a Ukrainian empire. Yeah, I mean, they made some outlandish promises to these people, right? And up to this point, I mean, NATO, you know, I mean, Iraq, you know, the insurgents in Afghanistan. They basically fought NATO to a standstill for 20 years. But this was going to be more of a conventional European-style war that these people claim to understand better than that. And Ukraine had been armed and trained precisely for that conflict, right? They had to provoke Russia to move in, and then they would collapse their economy. I don't know that BRICS in and of itself helped Russia weather that storm.
I see it more of a benefit for China.
Well, I think ultimately, yeah, all the benefits flow to China. That, you know, they'll be the last one confronted because they're the biggest by far. But Russia is a nuclear power, right? Like you have to be pretty ginger handling with them. But where BRICS is concerned, I think it was just more of an alternative financial and trading arrangement in case they suddenly got kicked off the SWIFT interbank system and got sanctioned to crap. They needed other places to go, and everyone just about every one of those countries. India certainly was colonized by the British. The Chinese, enjoyed the tender administrations of colonial powers and financial powers for over 100 years. Russia, of course, is, between the Russian Civil War, the Bolsheviks, and then the 1990s, were gang raped by these people, metaphorically speaking, several times. They're familiar with the playbook, and so it was an attempt to, exploit it. Exploit it. Yeah, if they had that card pulled on them, they needed another card up their sleeve. Right. Russia had time to create its mere credit card system.
Yep.
The SIPs, I think it's called, interbank system that China uses, alternatives to SWIFT. They would use them if they had to, because it's just more convenient to use the current system. It's been around for 80 years.
Okay.
But if America went off the rails, then they had a card up their sleeve. That's what I think BRICS is. I don't think it was set up as a rival power block as much as it was a lifeboat.
Okay.
An emergency exit, if you will.
Okay. I'm just opening one email at a time. Okay. I have I think this one's addressed to me, but I'll let you answer it. Hi, Mike. My name is Kenjai Nakamura. I live in Tokyo, Japan. I have a simple question for you. What happens when a country has more retirees than workers?
Well, a lot of promises were made to those retired workers.
Right.
And they didn't do anything to correct the problem. In Japan, it's a huge problem because, they had a huge real estate crash and washout in the late 80s. And instead of simply letting the system correct, they dropped interest rates basically and nailed them to the floor for 25, 30 years to try to reinflate the economy and reinflate the bubble. So all the things that they've done in the Western world since 2008, Japan's already done for over 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So now they have Japanification, and they have a debt to GDP ratio over 200%.
Mm-hmm.
Those retirees, some politician somewhere is going to have to hold that hot potato and disappoint them and say, we're going to try to get you a decent little apartment to live in, and we're going to try to make sure, it might be hospital grade food, we'll try to make sure you get your 3 squares a day, but unless you have savings to live on, we ain't got much else to give you. I mean, you can guarantee pensioners their money. You can print the money.
You can print the money, yeah.
It's just after a
you're
couple
going
of years,
into Japanification mode.
Yeah, well, yeah, you get your check, once a month, but it'll, if you're lucky, it'll buy you a ham sandwich, right? Like, and they don't want to do that, especially now that interest rates, especially in Japan, interest rates are crawling up at a frightening pace.
Yeah, they have to. Well, they have to hedge. They're in trouble, boy.
They absolutely do. Yeah, the yen and the yen carry trade could be the thing that brings it all down.
Yep, it could be.
It absolutely could. Yeah, it could bring the whole system down. It's a huge problem now. We've never been here before demographically in world history.
Never. That we know of. The
closest thing might have been Paraguay after the War of the Triple Alliance in the 1860s, when 9 out of 10 males in the population were killed in the wars.
Okay, next email.
It would be something like that. Yeah.
Next email. Thank you guys for sending your emails. They're just pouring in right now, Supreme. I've gotten another 100 emails in the last 15 minutes that I've been opening emails tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even have 50 people watching this damn thing.
Okay. Well, I'll go as fast as I can.
Okay. So we got Dmitry Volkov, and he's a longtime listener of Mike in the Night. Mike, I respect everything you do. Thank you for having these guests on. I really love Supreme Cannon, The Raven. I enjoy listening to Mitch Madden and his stories. My question is the world moving towards a new Cold War? And this is from Dmitry Volkov, and he says, regards and respect from Moscow, Russia.
Well, welcome, Dmitry. Thank you for that question. I think the Western financial elites, the Western political elites, if they can't get the collapse that they want out of Russia or China or any of the other places they keep insisting are about to collapse any day now, then the next thing will be a Cold War situation.
Right.
But the reason I think that they'll fail to bring it in, and I'm convinced they'll fail to bring it in, is because if you compare society before 1991 in the Western world, because really when we're talking about how much things have changed since the 1990s, Mike, we're talking about that time immediately before and after the Cold War ended, right? Like our working people in this part of the world, in order to maintain military readiness, governments have to practice a certain amount of financial discipline, and you need to cultivate a certain amount of social cohesion so that people are prepared to pay the price to maintain that military readiness.
Understood.
Right? We're not anything like that now. How would you keep talking about Germany rearming and oh my God, they're gonna go to war with Russia? They're gonna be the Fourth Reich or something like that. No, they're not.
No.
What does the average young German man have to fight for now?
No. What, is he going to save the migrants that are destroying his country and raping his women and children?
He's going to go off and get killed by Russian artillery while the migrants are left alone with their women. Yeah, that'll fly. So how do we solve that problem? Well, sure. We'll take all those young German men who already have no future prospects, and we're going to put heavy weapons in their hands. That's smart, isn't it? That's brilliant. Imagine them trying a draft in Canada right now. You'd find out how smart these people are. You'd find out how capable they were of implementing a police state if they actually tried to draft all the young men between 18 and 30. If they'd get laughed out of town, their bluff would be called very quickly. I'll leave it at that.
I got another email here from Lee.
So anyway, sorry, Dimitri, to answer your question, I think they want to bring a new Cold War if they can't get their way.
If they can't, they want to slow it down, Japanification style, and ride it out as long as they can.
I don't think they'll succeed. It's a different world now than it was during the last Cold War. Anyway.
Okay, another email. I got tons to just keep populating in my email box. So Lee, WEI, he says, Mike, I'm in China. I was intrigued with your video you made 8 years ago about the Chinese population being a hoax, but I think you're right. We are seeing it, and it's surfacing. More retirees are coming. It looks like it's translated from another language here. One sec. So it looks like we are entering more and more people are retiring on a regular basis as there are workers in China. I think you're right about the population, and that's
as long as they maintain their productivity, and there's no reason they can't, with the amount of automation, electrification.
That's why they're going full blast with robots and automation and AI.
Absolutely. Yeah, they do have dark factories. They have factories that they run and they turn off the lights and go home at night, and the things just run all night.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, yeah. And where it comes to food production, energy production, the things that they would need to help retirees maintain at least a basic comfortable standard of living with leaving the workforce.
Mm-hmm.
I think I suspect, I don't know, I don't live there, but the average Chinese worker who's enjoying what we would call a middle-class lifestyle has only been doing so for about 20 years.
Yeah.
Prior to that, it was one of the poorest countries on earth.
Yeah,
they have performed an absolute wonder over there. Whatever it turns out like, and I have no doubt there's a lot of problems and imbalances and mismatches, just like we have here. Check your own backyard once in a while, folks. I suspect that the expectations are not quite as high as they are among, say, boomers. Like I said, they want to go to, Woodstock 2029. They want to go to, Coachella. They want an RV the size of a suburban house. They want a, beach house somewhere, right?
Yeah.
They want to spend the winters in Arizona or Cancun or wherever, right? And we don't have the kind of mass transit that they have over there either. So most people here, if they want to go south for the winter, they have to fly or they have to drive or, whereas in places like that where you've got a lot more mass transit, people can travel anywhere in the country a lot cheaper. And as long as food and shelter are affordable or the state provides them, I suspect that a lot of retirees will find other things to do to keep themselves busy and get a little walking around money, but they're still going to be living better than they did when they were younger, or certainly their parents or grandparents did. Supreme, I think China can pull through.
It could if it plays its cards right, but
absolutely.
Supreme, I don't even know how to tell you this. I've gotten another 100 emails in the last
This is
I don't
fascinating.
understand how there's no one watching the show, but we're just getting bombarded with emails, not messages on Instagram, which are being flooded with. And this is a good one here. I picked this one out here. It was sent to me two minutes ago. It's from Carlos Martinez. Hey, Mike, are you going to bring back Mike in the Night in Spanish? I enjoyed watching a few episodes. I really, really want you to bring it back if you can. I will call in. See, everyone wants this show in different languages, Supreme. Now, the question is a very simple question. Mike, I know you lived in Florida. You talk about living in Florida. Can you see Florida becoming a new economic capital of America? And that's Carlos Martinez from Miami Beach.
It kind of already is, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Like
There's lots of money in Florida. Now that they're scrapping property tax, and they're scrapping property tax.
It is. I
And
mean,
they're
capital goes where it's treated best, and it sounds like Florida is one of those places like Texas where the capital is treated very well. You know, now as long as the the people moving from California or Colorado or wherever don't spoil the place, trying to bring their policies with them.
Yeah, they're
when
bullshit.
They evacuate.
Bullshit
yeah,
liberalism.
Bullshit liberalism policies with them. Then Florida will be an economic pole. Yeah, there's 40 million people there now. There's more people in Florida than there is in all of Canada.
Yep. So
I think it already is, and I don't see any reason why it would continue. Plus, Miami's on the same latitude as like Casablanca, isn't it?
Well, New York.
Same latitude as.
It's summer all year. I lived there for 5 years. It was summer all year.
It's subtropical, it's like Morocco.
Yeah.
Same latitude as
No,
Morocco.
Morocco's too arid. It's tropical like Jamaica, tropical like.
Sure, but it's the same distance from the equator, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I know. What you mean.
Totally different climate, obviously. Yeah, you probably get the odd dust storm from the Sahara making it over there, just to show the contrast. Second California, but without the high taxes.
Yeah, without the high taxation.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Texas is swamped with people of the East. Well, hopefully, they get there, and but the ones that come and they want to bring all the liberal BS with them, a lot of them are retirees too. It's only going to last for about 10 years. Once the fat part of that birth curve from say 1955, once they've aged out and either gone into a home or gone into the ground, I mean, things are going to change anyway, aren't they? I think they'll be okay.
I got another. It just is an email that was sent 18 minutes ago. I want to read this one. It's just very short. It's just people sending me these quick shot questions. I'm not reading into some of the fluff with the thank you and all that stuff. It's just this is a good one. This one's from Athens, Greece, from Nikos Papadopoulos.
Okay.
I got to the point of the email. It's a long email. It's basically here it is. Did Greece ever truly recover from its debt crisis?
As I recall, I'm not deeply studied on it, but they did have austerity.
That's
and
right.
People treat austerity as a dirty word, but what does it mean? It means the government had to rein in its spending.
That's right.
And it was out of control. I mean, there was a lot of government ministries where people were making the equivalent of $100,000 a year and not doing much.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, corruption is bad in all the democracies over time, but I think they will pull out of it.
I think they will. I think they got their immigration in check now. As of the last 6 months, they've been huge deportations. I remember.
Yeah, because this is the thing. Immigration is, like I say, they're trying to practice human quantitative easing. Unfortunately, because these are not people that were born from among the native population, and they're not assimilating, and their dedication to globalism and multiculturalism means they don't expect them to assimilate. You've got this iron and clay that are not cleaving together, right? To use a biblical metaphor, and it's a money drain. It's a major money sink, and if they want to keep their interest rates down, they're going to have to. Bond markets again are the deciding factor here.
Yep,
if they
100%.
want to be able to continue and keep the state functioning, they got to keep those rates down, and you're not going to do it while you've got like a practical civil war going on in your streets. So, I'm hoping things are better than they were in, say, 2002 in Greece, since the worst of it seems to have settled down. But, keep a lot of cash at home and, let things work themselves out. There are people in Greece that were on the streets. They're angry, too, because of the immigration. And it's not even just that. It's the lack of law and order. This anarcho-tyranny where they try to intimidate the native population so that the newcomers can, feel more comfortable, I suppose.
Right. That's a good way to put
it. And I think that's what it is, right? Why are we being forced to bend over backwards or being twisted into an origami pretzel to accommodate people that hate us? They're just here for, free money and white chicks, and they're running out of both, right? So, it's just about over. It's just about over.
So there's another email here. It's a bunch of letters in the email, like letters in the name. So I'm not going to read it out. It's a long-winded name in the email. It's not a real name. It's just like an email. You know what I mean? Those emails where you use numbers and stuff. There's no name, but they're saying it's someone saying, Mike, when historians look back at 2026, they will call it the year of the turning point.
I think they will. There's been several,
That's the name of our show tonight.
The turning point.
That's right.
Yeah, we're in a crisis, crisis point. We're in a kairos moment, I think. This was the biblical Greek term for it, a moment of decision, right? And decisions a lot of people are making decisions, right? They've had enough, they've seen enough. But you also have decisions being forced on our so-called elites that they don't like. But this is the other thing. This is why I'm not that concerned about a new Cold War, because we have to get our economies in order. We have to get our energies in order. We have to start extolling the virtues of national pride and martial virtue and discipline and sacrifice. And they start trotting out terms like this in the UK and France and Germany, for example, telling people, you may have to sacrifice your children. Like they're trying to act like it's 1938 and trying to get people ginned up for a world war so they can go, take out that nasty Putin fellow. But their people aren't having anything to do with it. They're out getting another tattoo and nose piercing. They don't have time for this.
Another tattoo.
The tattoo. Or
dude, you got some of the best responses to everything. It's the best. That's why you've been on here for over an hour.
I wish I could say I was completely original, but I'm just repeating what I observe. So
you're repeating what you're observing, yeah. And it's really
not
good.
Even just
it's really good way
to. It's the chaos. People don't put their shopping carts away, like they used to. Like it all comes down to accountability. People aren't taking accountability because they don't care. They just don't feel like they have a dog in this fight. They don't own a bolt in anything. And they've been put that way. Some of it is on purpose. Some of it is just because the people in charge don't care. After the end of the Cold War, they took a vacation from noblesse oblige. They didn't have to care about us anymore. At least that's what they thought. Now all of a sudden they're going to have to start, and it's making them a little bit nauseous because they hate us. They despise us, but they need our help now. They need us to cooperate, and we want them all dead. Basically, they want us all dead, and we want them all dead.
Yeah.
So who's going to win that one, Mike?
Yeah,
I know I'm not that worried about it. There are a lot of we use a lot more development in Canada. We have a lot of perfectly good lampposts just dying to be used.
Yep.
And if they're not careful, some of them will be.
Yep. Or people. I could see people squatting in homes. Lots of vacant homes millions of vacant homes across Canada.
Absolutely.
People will just start squatting in those towers, empty towers all over the place.
All those unsold condos. Absolutely. We're going to have our avocado toast and our $8 coffee in this condo owned by some numbered company in Mumbai or Shanghai. And we're just going to, yeah, full kook. Full kook. I missed that term. I missed you, Raven. Where are you? You got to call in sometime.
He doesn't have Instagram.
Stop being a mystery man.
He doesn't have Instagram.
Takes 3 seconds to sign up for Instagram.
Dude, you signed up just for me.
I'm getting a tattoo. I'm OD man. Don't do that. Don't do that.
But
I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you don't do that.
But Supreme, yeah, I just a lot of people have, which I'm very surprised, got Instagram just to call into the show, because Instagram, they state that 1.2 billion people have Instagram. So I am thinking in my head, oh, we got all these people already on Instagram, so I don't have to force people to jump onto something that they already got, right? And
right.
I'm getting a lot of people telling me, "Oh, I just signed up for Instagram just for you. I don't even use it. I just use it to call your show, or if I want to message you or send you a reel on Instagram, I just use it."
That's pretty much what that's pretty much what I use it for. I don't think I've ever actually posted on Instagram. I got an account. I message back and forth with my daughter on there and a couple other people and your show, of course.
Yeah.
But beyond that, yeah, I don't know. I don't go to Dubai to take pictures of my butt.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Supreme, what area are you in BC? I am in the Shuswap, sir. I am 35 minutes east of Kamloops. I'm right off the Trans-Canada. So if you're commuting through this area at all, be sure and hit me up.
Yeah, Raven said he called in 3 weeks ago, but last time when I talked to him, he said he doesn't have Instagram.
Yeah,
he told me he didn't have Instagram last time I spoke to him 2 phone calls ago. But I remember him calling in 3 weeks ago. I think he was using his girlfriend's phone or her account. But anyways, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. He always
3 weeks
messages
ago.
me on TikTok.
Okay, well take another week off then. You're good. Mosquito territory. We are remarkably free of mosquitoes the last couple of years.
We are.
Yeah. I don't have any complaints. I have a black fly problem around here, but I live on a country road. Like I'm right on the right over the line from the village limits. I mean, Chase is literally 30 seconds away, but yeah, there's a lot of horse ranches and organic farms and stuff here, and we have a black fly problem in the summertime.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond that, it's been remarkably mosquito free here. I feel blessed. I still see bats though, so they're finding something to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah, you driving through in a week? Oh, let me know, man. Let me know.
Yeah. I'll let you know I'll let you know if he's getting close to my shop. I'll let you know if he's coming.
Oh, let me know even if he stops at the shop. I'll make a trip. I'd be honored to meet you, buddy. Be good. I still dream of the day maybe we all get together and close down a pub somewhere. But even if we can't do that,
I think about that all the time. You, Eduardo, the Raven. You know what I mean? Getting together at a pub or or a strip club or something, and just hanging out for the night.
Yeah, that's right. Some completely unlikely, unhealthy place where we can go and close down a bar somewhere and tell some tall tales. Yeah. It's time, man. We've been talking to each other and sometimes
and Dino Bravo,
Dino Bravo,
yeah, we Canada's strongest man. We need him there too. We need We could even see if we could get Glenn, Canada's most famous homeless man.
Totally, yeah. Well, he's homeless. That means he can travel.
Yeah,
right. Pack the bag and hit the road. Yeah. Well, let's figure out a venue and let's do that soon.
Yeah. All right, Supreme.
Show live. Yeah, I like that idea. We should do that. We were going to do that one time, Mike. Remember? We were
talking about doing for episode 600.
We're gonna sit at the gaming table in your store and do a round table.
Yeah, we're gonna do a round table. We're gonna do it for episode 600. I still remember that.
Yeah. We couldn't make it happen, but by God, episode 700 is coming up pretty fast.
Yep. One episode a week, and look how fast it's moving, Supreme. We're in the 26th week of 2026.
Isn't that crazy?
Woo!
I'm still hungover from New Year's, man. I can't believe how fast it's going.
It's moving too fast.
I'll be 61 in a couple of weeks. That's how fast time is going, guys. Yesterday it was 43 years since I graduated from high school.
Wow.
If you're young, if you're under 30 or under 40, you've got time, but you have no time to waste. There never was. You never had time to waste. But you know what? I went to the wildlife park, and my daughter and son-in-law came all the way from Abbotsford to spend the afternoon with me and bought me lunch, and they even brought me a gift bag. It said "proud of you" on it.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever else, I thought didn't go right in my life or I messed up or whatever, I was a little proud of me too after that.
Mm-hmm.
It was worthwhile. But I'm going to say to the ones of you that for whatever reason, you didn't have kids, I didn't get the family I wanted either. I have a good relationship with my son and daughter now, but most of the time they're not talking to each other. The family, Sunday dinners and stuff like that. Never got to have that. So it's all relative, guys. It's all relative. We're more fortunate in a lot of ways than say the young guys that had to charge over the top of the Somme or Gallipoli. You know, they had their whole future ahead of them and they didn't get to have it, and we did. So, you know, appreciate them and appreciate what you do have and appreciate where you live, because there's still a lot of places in the world, as much as they try to turn it into a hellhole, it was built by us, it's maintained by us, and ultimately it will be defended by us.
Right.
And we're going to pull through this by sheer stubbornness. You're going to live at this latitude and carve a modern first tier civilization out of raw brush and wilderness and prairie and whatever else. You know, we're descended from some pretty damn tough, stubborn people. You've got it in you. You're going to be okay. I guess I'll conclude with that.
All right, Supremo. We wrapped up.
Remember, you have ancestors. You have ancestors not that long ago, never heard a word of English spoken in their entire life, and they were literal serfs.
Mm-hmm.
Serfs, okay? Peasants, you know, like they were somebody else's property.
Right.
Oh, right, Raven. Yeah, episode 666 is coming up soon. Well, we'll have to.
666 is a very important episode, Supreme.
Yeah. You haven't seen your son in 6 years. I'm sorry, Tig. Be strong. You're the only mother they got. I didn't see my daughter for 11 years. I didn't hear from her in 11 years. 4 years ago, she reached out to me again. She just finally had enough. It was the instigation of her mother. I knew what it was about. I didn't blame my son or my daughter for it.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, but here it is all these years later. And yeah, she and her husband, you know, came from Abbotsford to Kamloops to meet up with me for the day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's worth it. Sometimes being a parent hurts, but it's worth it.
Right.
Because there they are, you know, and there's all kinds of things that make life worthwhile, even if you don't have that. But, you know, you're the only mother your son's got. That relationship exists and is a reality regardless of what they're doing or how they're feeling right now.
Mm-hmm.
So God bless you, and sometimes you have to be stone cold objective. It feels like the walls are closing in on you.
Nim's come to visit me at my store.
Is that right?
Yeah. I told you. Like when she did.
Oh, yeah. It happens a lot. Yeah, it's spite. A lot of it is just because, like I say, we're living in this post-war world where, you know, we were just victims of our own success. Things were too comfortable, and choices and decisions and actions that used to have almost immediate consequences and sometimes life-altering consequences, people can carry on for years doing and saying and believing those things.
Mm-hmm.
Without suffering immediate consequences. But rest assured, the consequences do come, because when my daughter regained contact with me, she immediately cut off her mother, and they haven't spoken in 4 years. So, you know, and I'm not happy about that, because I wanted my children to have a normal family. But, you know, I feel at least vindicated. And I think if the time comes, yeah, she'll probably be talking to her mom again too. Took my mom out today for a few hours, bought her an ice cream. Good man. Yeah, I appreciate them. I lost my mom in October of 2024. And I can't believe how fast the time has gone.
My dad was 2019.
2019, yeah. You just there, you know, he was your Iron Man, right?
Yeah, but look how fast it is. It's 2026 already.
Yes, sir. Yeah, 7 years.
Yep.
Just like that. Yeah, time seems to speed up when you get older. I don't know how.
Terrence McKenna was warning us about this.
Time speeding up.
Yep. We'll look up to Supreme when you get some time after you get off the stream. Type in. Can you please watch for me something? It's called Terrence McKenna's last interview. He's in a jungle, and he's talking to. He sits down on a log, and he talks He talks for about 50 minutes. Can you look it up? You'll find it. Just type in Terrence McKenna's last interview on YouTube.
Sure.
Please watch it. Please.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Terrence McKenna's last interview. Sure, I'll check it out. I've probably seen it. I was introduced to Terrence McKenna. I saw that on the internet. I don't know, YouTube. Probably.
I've been talking about this guy for so many years.
Sure, 2011, 2012. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know who that is anyway. Yeah. I've seen other people too on lately talking about how they think time is speeding up. The funny thing is there's a biblical quote. I think it was actually something Jesus said along the line of, "Except the days be shortened, no flesh would be saved."
Yeah.
And I wonder if there, is some kind of, it's all quantum here, but maybe it's just one of those things where time is being accelerated a little bit. Something is off kilter. Like even before AI, supercomputers were, elites were using them to take current events and try to project what things would look like. And the anecdotes anywhere were that basically every result they had after the year 2012 all wound up in the same place, and there was nothing they could do about it. It's like they all came to the same conclusion. Something is coming. They can't stop it, and they're not happy about it. So that's good news for you and me, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, CERN creating time distortions. I can't rule that out, Rob. Yeah. I can't rule that out. They've probably opened a portal somewhere, and there's extra dimensional beings wandering around here right now, creating all kinds of havoc that aren't supposed to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Things happening that weren't supposed to happen. That's, days are faster now, at least it feels. Yes, Jordan, absolutely. Yeah, they're racing by. So as long as you're doing the right things and staying out of trouble, if the days are speeding up, that means that you're getting to that good destination faster all the time. And consequences are coming for these people, guys. That's good news, right? They're not just arguing with malleable human beings. They're arguing with physics and time and entropy now. And nobody wins that battle. Nobody wins that battle. And they're foolish enough to try. So, as I always say, our job is to stay out of the way and avoid being trodden on. Just stay the hell out of the way and let them destroy themselves.
Yeah, that's what we've been saying here on the channel. Don't take sides, stay out of the way, let these people...
Yeah. You've got agents of chaos and evil in the world, but you also have agents of good.
You do.
And an order, right? So, internalize that. And gain some reassurance from it.
All right.
We're going to make it.
Guys, stop. You don't have to email me anymore. I'm getting so many emails in. Maybe we'll just do once in a while. We'll open up emails and ask questions. Like maybe go over some emails once in a while, because once I tell or initiate opening emails, I start noticing a huge flow of emails coming in, and I don't even have that many people watching the show, which doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, well, the diagnostics, the statistics they're showing you on your screen are obviously inaccurate.
So
because you're getting the proof of it, because you're getting all these emails from people that are watching that aren't even showing up in the numbers. So,
do you remember that time when we were getting like hundreds of emails from people from New Jersey?
Yeah.
And I said, if you're in New Jersey, email us, and we're getting from all these places in New Jersey I never even heard of.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? And we had, 60 people watching the show, and I got 104 emails from New Jersey in that segment of Mike in the Night. That's crazy, dude. Like, yeah.
Anyways. Yeah. Yeah, you were able to summon a response like that, and and YouTube telling you no one's watching your show.
Yeah.
Right? So obviously they're lying. And that's the good news. They're lying. It looks bad, but they're lying. It's actually not. You actually have a much larger audience than they're letting you see. So there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blessings, Tignim. I agree. Blessings to everyone. It's been fun, Mike. Thank you very much. It's great to interact with everyone. Raven, let Mike know when you're going through the neighborhood, and let's set up a meeting.
All right.
Let's do that before we get too much older. Eh?
Yeah, right. We have to. We're dying. Anyways.
Yeah.
God bless.
Yeah, that's right.
God bless you, Supreme.
Mike.
We'll get you back on soon enough. Okay, buddy?
Sure. Sounds great. Have a great evening and a great week, everyone. We'll talk soon.
God bless.
Okay, bye.
That was an action-packed hour and a half with Supreme Cannon, and that was really good. We got Blackjack Romano on the show, and then we got our Glenn, Canada's most famous homeless man on the show. Really good guy. Thank you for coming on, Glenn. And yeah, the show's doing well. And again, a lot of people are scared to call in. They've told me straight up, I'm scared to call into your show, Mike. I'm with all these bills passing in Canada, I don't blame a lot of people. I don't. I'd probably be scared to call into this show too if I wasn't a vocal person. But anyway, let's get some send-off music. Mike in the Night send-off music.
Hero House.
Thank you, Raven. Thank you, Sharon Forbes. Thank you, Sandy for Freedom. Thank you, Mitch Madden. Thank you, Tignim. Thank you, Jerry. Silver J56. Angie. Smitty. Oily Film. Tignim.
Every fear just fades away when the rhythm starts to play. You don't know what's wrong, alright. You just moving right in the night. Close your eyes, don't fight the fight. Feel it lifting you higher. When the clock hits 3.
Mitch Madden. Thank you, Mitch Madden. Thank you, Mitch Madden. Angie, thank you. Sandy, Mayo King. Mike Martin's signing off for episode 656 of Mike in the Night. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention, we were on season 36, episode 1. Season 36, episode 1. And we are in summertime here in the Northern Hemisphere. I should have said that at the beginning, but anyways. Signing off for episode 656 of Mike in the Night. Take care, and if you can't take care, stay safe. Mike Martin's here. I have spoken.
3 a.m. feel the rise. Hands up high, no disguise. Lights are flashing, bodies sway. Truth is rising anyway. In the silence, in the fight, we come alive. And Mike in the night. From the cities to the coast, from the voices